What is going on, everyone? We are here with a new episode of the Let's Talk Resident Evil podcast. And this time we're on video for YouTube. And if
Yes,
you're
we
listening on Spotify, iTunes, and Libsyn, you can listen as well. But this is the Village pre-release show. Everything that's led up to this 10-month promotional cycle of Resident Evil Village, including the 2 new demos that we played, and everyone wanted our thoughts on the long hour, well, not hour, it was like a half-hour gameplay that was released to the presses of people that went and flew into Japan and played the game for 5 hours. Obviously, content creators like ourselves didn't get this, but
no, we did not.
We are going to cover the rest of the houses and everything that was revealed up until this point. So we wanted to wait until the second demo was out until we're here. But we're here, John. This is the night of the second castle demo. We played it.
Yeah.
And
great
we are
demo, by the way.
Yeah, really good demo. And we are less than 2 weeks away. We're like 13 days, almost 12 days away at this point.
12 days, bro. 2 weeks remain.
It's crazy, man.
I know.
It's really crazy because it seems like the cycles, you know, they go really fast. Like the RE3 cycle was very... It seemed like it was just like announced and then bam, we're getting it in April, and it was so fast. You know, from December 2019 to April, it was like, you know, there was a lot of stuff that just like we did and accomplished, and same thing with this Village run, you know.
The announcement trailer was 10 months ago.
Yeah.
10
months. It was 10 months ago.
Almost a full year.
And we even had, you know, some speculation videos and some theories of like, you know, where they're going to take it up until that point, and
the rumors before then were even
pretty accurate to what ended up.
Well, some of them were very accurate, but even then, like we've been covering this for longer than a year.
Yeah, it's really been over a year at this point, and that was coming right off the presses of RE3 remake,
Resident Evil 3 remake,
which really, you know, we were really active with that, and then it kind of was like after one thing, right into the next, because at that point RE7 was already, you know, 3 years old,
right
or
into the
approaching
new
3
era.
years old, you know. Yeah, next gen, new machines. You know, we played this, the demos on PS5, of course, but we're going to be playing it on PS5 for the launch, and then I'm going to get the other copies as well. But it's crazy that, like, we're already into this new gen. We're already into this next generation of machines, and we're seeing some new games coming out, and, you know, slowly but surely. There's really not a lot on these machines right now, but
Returnal's coming out, I believe, this week or next week.
Okay. Yeah.
So like the first real, other than Oddworld Soulstorm, I'm not an Xbox guy. I'm not really sure what Xbox has gotten that's Xbox Series X exclusive yet. I know PlayStation 5 only has a couple, like a handful, Pathless, I think. Maybe not even Pathless.
Yeah, it's slowly but surely getting there. I mean, it's really just like I always tell people, if you know, if you're still looking for a machine, just try to get games on sale right now and just wait, because you're not really missing a lot.
No.
Because it's just like it's actually a good time period to wait stuff out. And, you know, this is also on PS4 as well, so anyone that's, you know, listening to this and you're getting excited for Village, you can still play it on PS4 and Xbox One, and of course PC and all that stuff. But let's go back, you know, 10 months to when we actually got trailer 1.
Okay.
Because this was when, you know, we started to actually...
The announcement trailer.
The announcement trailer, yeah. This was like, okay, what can we see? It was just like the, you know, the Don't Tell Aunt Rhody trailer to RE7, where we really saw exactly what the game was trying to throw at us. And this time, it was the Village. Now, the big thing that it opened up with was Ethan's stories coming to a close.
Or, presumably, somebody's.
Right.
I think after, you know, a lot of the new information since then, it's pretty obvious it's his story is coming to a close.
Exactly. And
there were some speculations early on. It could have been Chris
or Ethan.
Or it could have been Ethan. I think it's pretty safe to assume it's probably Ethan's story, based on some other things that we got with the developer insights and such like that, where they talked a lot extensively about Ethan.
It's Ethan's story.
And we wanted to know what we were going to do with Ethan next.
Yeah.
And that's basically the core of what Resident Evil Village is based around.
And the one thing that they kind of stressed in the demo, which we haven't really talked about, since, was the fairy tale, because it opens with the fairy tale.
Yes, it's very important that you bring that up, because we were talking about that earlier before we recorded the show.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting how the fairy tale's kind of just gone away. They don't really talk about it anymore, which I find interesting. It was kind of a big deal for the first couple of trailers, looking for berries. Mia's obsessed with this fairy tale, but in the 5 hours that we've seen, like the 5 hours that they've shown us, we've seen nothing about the intro prior to him waking up in the wrecked vehicle. We see nothing of the storybook at all. They didn't utilize the storybook in the Maiden demo, in the castle or village demo that we've gotten to play. They even talk about it in developer insight about how much of like this, it's a piece that brings everything together. Kudos to them if they're keeping it secret. But I don't know. What do you think about that, Anthony?
Yeah, I think that's one of those things where, they're probably going to have more of the story unfold. Like, you're going to find either pieces to the book, or you can find it or something like that, to where it actually might fill in what happens with Mother Miranda, with these houses, what they're trying to do. Maybe they're just trying to keep it secret, and then they just showed it off the trailer just to, again, kind of give it a different, because it had a different animation style and stuff like that, and a lot of people were talking about that. So obviously it was very like, eye capturing. You're like, that's different. What's going on with that?
Yeah.
So that I don't know why they've, after this trailer, and obviously they recite it in the next couple of trailers that we're going to talk about, but yeah, it's not. I think they're trying to keep it secret. There's something with that fairy tale that's supposed to tie everything together, and then of course they had us look at. The big thing in this trailer was the emblem of the baby or fetus or whatever with the wings on it and everything. That was the first thing that they told us with this trailer that was like important, that rolled out with everything, and the screenshots that they gave us at the time with the press release and all that.
Yeah.
So that is, the Mia telling this local tale in the trailer. It's really strange, because then you're like, well, what the fuck is Mia? Why is Mia saying this tale? It really makes it seem obvious right from the start.
It's interesting too. They said that symbol was going to mean a lot in the the overarching plot of Village, and it's a very important, huge spoiler symbol, right? Like that baby fetus with the 4 wings around it. And I'll go a little bit more into there just in a moment. I just wanted to backtrack real quick and talk about the fairy tale book again, because I'm curious about what you think too, especially because I know we've talked about this a little bit, but like we've said, it's kind of fallen to the wayside a little bit. It was very mixed reactions to a lot of people. A lot of people were talking, and even in our comment section, about how the fairy tale looked like too cartoony. It looked a little weird. I know you said that when it first came around, and you were still, you wanted to see where it was going to go, but you were just like, what is the fairy tale? A lot of, Where's Barry? A lot of our fellow community members in the Resident Evil community did a lot of speculating on the fairy tale, and like we said, it's kind of just gone to the wayside. But you know who hasn't gone to the wayside? Lady D. Do you think marketing, like we see so much in movies and video games, do you think they pulled that purposely because of the negative reception and thrusted Lady D into the spotlight? Because let's be honest with you. If Lady D didn't take off as much as she did, there's no way they would have given her so much press. There's no way, bro.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think they definitely pushed it more when they saw that it was working, and they thought, okay, this is even working more than the Bakers at this point, because
it's way more successful than the Bakers.
It's way more successful, and it's definitely more memorable, in my opinion. Yeah. But I think they were going to do it anyway. I think they might have shied away from the fairy tale just because they're trying to make things like, stay secret, I guess, or secretive, I guess.
Do you think that's giving them too much credit?
Yeah. I mean, honestly.
Honestly, though. Do you think that's...
I think it's really just... I just think they're just trying to push what sells, and that doesn't really sell.
Because there's a lot of red flags in that first trailer. There's the storybook. There's who we now know is called Elena.
Yeah, Elena.
With the
People
lantern.
were saying it's Emily, and it's not Emily. It's Elena. And the
Early
thing is
leaks,
with this,
which
the
they
early
could have
leaks.
changed her name. I mean, it could have been Emily at one point.
Yeah, the false cinematic camera angles is something we'll talk about.
That's something we got to talk about.
Yeah, we put that down here for this, but we did notice that the scene with Elena holding the lantern, looking scared, is not present at all. And we see the beginning and end of Elena in the village demo.
Yes.
So what does that mean? Is it like,
is there an episode Elena? That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
It's because we're introduced to characters Leonardo and Elena, Leonardo being her father.
And he's injured, and
that's
got
in the first trailer.
Yeah.
When it's like doom, or is it the second trailer? I forget which one it is. It's one of those.
This
two.
is the first trailer, because in this, Elena and Leonardo are both seen, and then you also see Louisa crying, which we go into Louisa's house in the village demo. This is something that we do as Leo is injured, and you're fighting.
And Ethan meets her.
The Lycans off
because they don't know who he is.
Right, they don't know who he is, and you have Louisa is the in the first trailer, from the shot that it shows you of her, it looks very creepy.
Yes.
Because she's standing down the hallway, and she has a dress on. You're like, that looks scary. That looks like some shit you'll see out of like a ghost movie.
And we even talked about that in our breakdown.
And then in the context of it, you're like, that's not scary. She's just like, oh, like, come into my home, like, you can be safe. It is. So like, obviously they were just kind of like slicing scenes. You also get the shot of Elena shooting her dad with the shotgun.
That's the scene I was talking about. Is that this one?
That's in this one.
So that's this trailer, right? And it's like, but we see so much more of the villagers. We see Iulian, and we see
Iulian is like trying to have, I guess, like he has. It looks like he's like holding the shotgun, and he's like around. It looks like he's around outside more instead of like.
That's
Ernest.
That's Ernest.
Okay.
Who we think is Ernest.
Right.
The missing husband of Louisa.
Yes, because she mentions that in the demo, and we do suspect, and again, going into the gameplay.
Lots of new characters, guys. Give us a break.
There's
a lot of new characters who apparently aren't going to mean anything because they all die in the demo.
Yeah, the demo actually is showing a lot of that not being the case with some of these characters, as far as everyone that was sitting around the table chanting Mother Miranda. If you played the demo or you watched anything, you saw this unfold, the whole place burn down, stuff like that. So a lot of stuff that they're showing in the trailer one, we've already actually played and experienced. So that's something or we didn't see the stuff that's cut, and so that's
the big.
That's the thing. It's like Ernest the old man that we see Ethan run into, because once Ethan goes into the village and he goes into a hut, he stumbles upon the old man that gives him the handgun.
Who shoots at him?
Shoots at him.
In the first trailer, shoots at him. He's like, I'm a friendly.
And everyone noticed that how Ethan just took the hit and he just shot at him. But maybe he missed.
Maybe he shot. I felt like I saw a wood fly, so maybe he shot the wall or something.
Right.
But maybe Ethan took the shot. I doubt Ethan took the shot.
And then he gives Ethan the Lemmy, and he's like, here you go. You know how to shoot. And obviously Ethan knows.
Yoink gets pulled up from the ceiling.
Gets pulled. Ethan
gets pulled through the floor.
So that's...
And then what happens to him? Does he get out?
That's the thing.
But why is he in other scenes?
And the way the gameplay splices, as you guys know that are watching, it cuts to it cuts that part. Then it gets to the point where Ethan's going into where we saw in the demo.
So where is he? Then there's a body that looks similar to his a little bit. My brain's a little foggy right now, so it might not be that one. But there's a body that gets dragged into the thing. But then where is he when he's talking to other people, or when he's looking up in the snow trailing?
Yeah.
Where are we seeing that stuff? Is this false advertising? Is this some Joel shit? That's what I'm worried about. Where is her lantern? If we meet her and she's dead, where is her lantern?
Yeah, they could have just changed a lot of shit.
They could have changed it. Yeah. But then if they changed it, don't you think they should have pulled the trailer?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird. Is there
that was their biggest run, because that first reveal trailer usually gets the most views.
Yeah.
We know this because of our videos, like screenshot breakdowns and stuff like that. Of the first trailer is always going to be the most looked upon, because people are like, "What is it? What is it?"
It was millions of views. Now the question leads to: is there DLC area? Is there optional stories?
We talked about this.
Are we going to get an episode, Elena?
Yeah, we saw Chris DLC and the band footage DLC, which myself, I wasn't really crazy about it at all. I expressed this back when I streamed it, and I express it now. I really am not for it, but we are in 2021.
Yes.
So we have to expect these things to happen. Money will be spent post us spending a bunch of money on the collector's editions and digital copies and buying it multiple times.
DLC is probably already greenlit.
That's what I'm saying.
Game
They're
is
probably already working on it.
Craziness.
They probably finished this game X amount of months ago, and then now they're already working on the DLC because, again, they rolled it out very similar because they didn't announce the banned footage until 7 actually came out. And then they're like, oh, by the way, here you go, you know, and they were pulling in that new audience. So we'll see about that. But yeah, it's weird because, you know, this was the first trailer that, you know, wanted to showcase, you know, you see shots of the village, you see shots of the doors and the puzzles and stuff like that. But the Umbrella logo, you know, shows up in the puzzles. This is the first trailer that, and the screenshots and everything they put out was, you know, showing this. And, well, a lot of people have, you know, questions about this because they're like, well, is Umbrella going to have some kind of tie-in to the stuff that's here? And is there going to be more of an origin story explained? Or are they not going to care? This is something we're talking about tonight because we played the castle demo, and the castle demo seems to be, you know, the last that they're going to show us before it comes out, so we can really kind of speculate on the rest of the stuff. But in my opinion, I would hope that they explain something through Umbrella. I believe that this will tie in some degree. I would hope that they don't ignore it, and if they do, and I'll stand by this, you know, that will be a little bit disappointing from the story side of things that I was looking forward to.
That'll be a huge disappointment. That won't just be a disappointment. That might ruin the whole game for me, personally.
Yeah.
I said I was going to get back to the symbolism of the 4 wings and the fetus. And the Umbrella logo is a perfect segue for that. So this game has a lot of 4s, man. It's got a lot of 4s. It's got 4 wings, 4 house leaders, 4 houses, 4 logos. It's got a very heavy witchcraft element to it. I was doing some research and I was looking up some number symbolism in witchcraft to kind of get like an idea of like what it could mean or whatever. And one of the things I thought was really interesting was because we were talking way back, if you go way back to when we were speculating about the 4 houses and the crests and all that. 4 in some witchcraft books, obviously there's different interpretations and all that stuff, but 4 represents like northeast, south, and west. Northeast, south, and west. Those are literally the crests. Wind, sun, moon, star. Those are literally the crests. And I think that was really cool because Resident Evil's always had a big thematic of 4. 4 crests, 4 masks.
Yeah.
4 does mean shi in Japanese, which means death. It's another word for death. That's why a lot of people who speak Japanese in certain parts of Japan, I'm not by no means an expert of this, but there is another word for the actual word for, which is yon, Y-O-N. They don't use the shi for everything. Some people do, but most of the time it's not used. That's probably been a core element of Resident Evil since the beginning, 4. You know, this game's going heavy with it. I think maybe looking back, maybe 4 plugs. It's just a lot of 4s, man. And what I found most interesting was 4 is also a symbol of love in a lot of cultures. It's a holy number of love, or not really holy, but it's a symbolism of number of love. And Mother Miranda being the key figure in this world, being a cult leader, basically, essentially a cult leader. You have Mother Miranda, who is a cult leader spreading her love, quote unquote, to these 4 house leaders who in my theory, my prediction, she's supplying them all with different powers. Like, that's what I think. I think she's the master virus or the master whatever, and she's powering them in different ways. Think about the implications. You have lichens. You have seemingly vampires. You have seemingly mermaid people or fish people. I mean, Moreau looks pretty disgusting, but he also does look aquatic. You know, like
exactly.
you have that, and then you have a puppeteer or a puppet master or some type of bewitched doll, some type of Horcrux, maybe. Maybe the shadowy figure that holds the doll is actually her main body. There's so much that you could go into it, which I love that house, by the way. That's the house I'm most excited for. But then when I was thinking about it and I got back to the Umbrella part, even Umbrella's logo is made up of 2 parts of 4. It's made of 4 parts white, 4 parts red. That's Umbrella at its core. So you had white Umbrella back in the day, and you had red Umbrella back in the day. Now you have blue Umbrella. White Umbrella was the one, I believe. I can't remember the file. I know it's in the art gallery room in Resident Evil 1. But they talk about White Umbrella was like a certain division of Umbrella. And then Red Umbrella was a different division of Umbrella. Blue Umbrella is obviously a reincarnation of Umbrella that they swear to, made up of old people who worked for Umbrella who were doing nothing but following orders or whatever the case is. They want to right their wrongs or whatever. What does all that have to do with Village? That's the question. That's the all that information I just dumped, whether it's relevant or not, is doesn't matter. That's what we know. That's kind of like what we have based off of Umbrella, pharmaceutical company, founded by Oswald E. Spencer, James Marcus, and Edward Ashford, right? Or Alexander Ashford, I forget which one at the moment. But the Ashfords, founded by them. The Ashfords go back to Veronica. Veronica was before Umbrella. There's bugs in this game. Code Veronica was very bug-centric. Lexi Ashford was very bug-centric too. She liked the domination of the ants and everything like that. What's that all about? Like what is that about? Why is it there? Why is that the one, bro? Like, there's so many interconnections. This series has such a core foundation of Umbrella being kind of around everything. If Umbrella's not around everything in this game, if they're not there in the background, if they're not explained why that symbol is there.
Yeah, that's just, it's really weird because I think it would be, obviously there's so much lore and there's so much origin that they can actually tell, with it that hasn't been told before. So that's probably something that they're going to do.
They better.
Because the house leaders are very interesting. And obviously we're going to cover that when we get through the bulk of these trailers. But
you can't put that symbol there,
you can't put it
and
there
not
and
expect old Resident Evil fans and Resident Evil fans in general. You can't expect them not to be like,
all right,
why is it there?
Yeah, what do you have to
We
say?
know that this is a very long time ago this place was established.
Right. I think that's something they're consciously doing to, and they're avoiding it, as far as like just showing the houses. They'll show that all day, but they won't say, the other layer that's underneath everything.
Who is Miranda?
But that's the thing. Yeah,
who is she?
Who the fuck is Miranda?
We want to know. And they
and
have
Mia
been doing a great job of keeping her a secret.
And that's the thing too.
And I'm glad.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like I don't understand why some people are upset at like how some of these people are I guess like Mother Miranda, because a lot of people wanted Mother Miranda to be secret up until this point.
Mm-hmm.
We thought she was going to be maybe revealed much later.
Her appearance was revealed. She wants the ceremony. That's nothing.
Yeah,
we've literally have nothing.
It's like we're still waiting.
She has a similar goal to the other 4 leaders.
Exactly.
The 2 Touchy-sans we've seen the most.
And we've
Heisenberg
seen we've seen all of them communicate and have arguments. So we see that we see their dynamic already with how they shift. But finishing up with trailer 1 though, pretty much that's all we have to say at the end of the trailer. Mia gets clapped by Chris. This was obviously the meme.
The shock value.
The shock value.
Why is Chris killing Mia?
Yeah,
Mitha.
Mitha. And that was the big takeaway from that. And what is going on with Chris is at the end of his story as well. That's when we were kind of speculating back and forth. And then of course we got a special developers message, which kind of just leaned into more of what was shown in the trailer. There really wasn't much showcase after that. With trailer 2. It actually opens up with the same spot that we see in the gameplay demo where Ethan wakes up in the snow with a phone call, and then you hear the old lady, which we also saw in the Village demo, saying that the bell tolls for us all. They're coming. You know, obviously there's that sequence of bells and the patterns that seem to be controlling people, or they're all on a rhythm. They're all on the set, like, you know, they're all being controlled by each individual house or all of them. So that's when we first saw that. And then the fairy tale is retold again. This is the last time we were shown the fairy tale. This is the last time it was referenced in the trailers.
They did reference it, I think, in the next special breakdown.
They did. They talked about the book being more of like, you find out more
of like the thing that ties everything together. They made a very heavy emphasis on that.
Yes, and we'll talk about some of the things that they did, you know, they kind of wanted to draw an emphasis to. And really the only real thing with this trailer that was new is, now the thing is, the fairy tale in this one was retold with the puppet animation. It was this trailer.
Yes.
So the second trailer is when they actually had the weird animation thing. And I think ever since then, like what John was mentioning, they shied away from it for whatever reason. Obviously, Lady D was kind of, you know, but the Village of Shadows is the book that they have.
Village of Shadows.
And the Village of Shadows is, you know, again, we'll probably see it more in the main game, but this is the last time they show it. The Mother Miranda chant is also seen by what we already played. So in this trailer, we also see the Mother Miranda chant. It's the same exact scene that we saw with Leo turning into a fucking lichen. It's the same exact scene, and that, you know, it shows that again. And then the Duke is shown for the first time in this trailer as well.
Yes,
which we'll obviously talk about. Yeah.
Or if you're just
window shop away.
If you're just looking, window shop away.
Yep. So that was the first time that they revealed the Duke. So this trailer was good. I think the first one obviously had more of like a oh shit, you know. This was more just like, okay, we're retelling the fairy tale, and, you know, who the fuck is this crazy old lady? You know, is she Miranda? Is she not? People were just saying that right from the start.
She was Miranda.
And then we play, you know, the village demo, and then we look. It looks like she's shape shifting.
I think she is.
I think so too. Like,
and I think that's the obvious thing, and I think that's the right move.
Yeah.
I personally would
from
not
the field
make the old
to
lady
like
different.
where she draws the symbol in the dirt, it's like, how fast could you know, like that's shapeshifter shit right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and with everything else that we're getting, shapeshifters kind of blend well in this universe.
Changelings,
you know what I mean? So
she's definitely shape-shifting. It's the only real, I mean, it's not the only real mythological kind of beast power thing, humanoid thing left, but like, it would just make sense, I think. I think it would make sense.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it would make sense.
And we could be wrong. Like, she could just be some old bag. But, you know, like we mentioned when we played the Village demo, we, you know, kind of had our impressions and everything. The old man Leo, you know, mentioned, oh yeah, you know, that crazy lady, she's always around town. You know, she's known in this town for being crazy.
What does he say? He says, she's crazier than a bag of a sack of rats or something.
Yeah.
She says he says something like that.
Like disregarding her already, you know, that's the big thing too, is like, you know, they have this this whole thing of like, you know, we were always protected.
Yeah, I was going to say, which is just, they obviously know who Mother Miranda is. This doesn't make sense.
And they
we were
pray
always
to her.
Protected by Mother Miranda.
Yeah, so because, like, you know, they were being protected, they were praying and in good spirits.
So why were they being slaughtered?
Right.
Did she just blanket go to blanket kill Ethan?
The old lady mentions, you know, in the beginning of the demo, ever since, you know, Rose or the baby and Ethan's arrival, you know, shit started hitting the fan because of it. So she blatantly says, like, because of these actions, you know, they're coming, you know, the bells are tolling. So they started showing that and shoving that in our face from the second trailer. And of course we see that. The next thing up was the developer's insight, and winter comes for Ethan. That's what it was entitled. But, you know, that's the one. This is really what it comes down to. You know, when you get a developer's insight and you get with, you know, the emphasis on certain things. And this is what we're kind of going to get into with this, because this followed both trailers, and we kind of got insight on, you know, the director, the producers, and stuff like that. And the one thing that they said that we put here was we put a lot of emphasis on letting the players make their own choice as if they were there in real life. So making a choice, you know, as far as like the exploring the village, this is something we talked about where we're like, maybe it's like you get to choose what you do first or where you go first. I mean, I think it's kind of confirmed now that it seems like it's kind of bringing you on like a linear path, maybe. You know, it seems like it's like beat for beat. Like you do this section, you go into the next section. Like you don't get.
Yeah, it's probably water tank creativity, which is something we talked about really early on in our breakdowns, where like you'll move as Ethan through multiple circles.
Right.
And in that circle, you'll be able to do things in any order, but then you have to do all those things in the circle before you can go to the next circle.
Yeah.
Kind of faux open world. I don't like open world. I don't like this word. It's not open world. Right. They're not trying to be open world.
I think they're just trying to make the village
a little less linear than 7, 2 remake, and 3 remake.
Seem big. Like make it seem like there is a reward for looking for stuff, for shooting down cages,
Emphasis
shooting down treasures,
on exploration.
Yeah,
they definitely want you to feel like you can tackle things the way you want to. Which in the demo we play differently. You can. Yeah. Now obviously the story's kind of linear because it's a demo too.
It's going to be told
but
a certain way.
Bro, the coolest thing in the village demo, the only reason I prefer the village demo over the castle demo is because the coolest thing in the village demo was when I laid that mine down and then aggroed the enemy and tricked him into walking into it. Like that kind of strategy and setup, that's what we live for. That's the kind of cool stuff in these games that you can do in a first-person Resident Evil that you couldn't really do on a fixed camera angle Resident Evil. And action Resident Evils, you kind of had the mines in RE5, but they were really only used for the Bat Boss. I never really used them anywhere else.
You could use them other places, but like again, it depends on what you're playing at, you know, like what speed you're playing at, like how much you're trying to kill and you can run. The thing is like this game, the action and the combat seems, you know, really smooth, and I like the fact that they, you know, there's more of an action element into this game, and it's going to be like RE4's exploration, but just like a lot bigger in regards to like what is around, like treasures that are around and stuff like that, you know. So it's going to be definitely a big upgrade. Now, they also said that, you know, the core of the game is Ethan and you know, ending his story. That's like what they said word for word. And so not only expanding on the character, but trying to wrap up the story. So I know that's a big thing that we wanted, and we've been talking about that since 7. I mean, I think we talked people's ears off with, you know.
I mean, I really wanted Ethan just to be gone forever, like Billy or
exactly.
Carlos,
we wanted to just see more of the OG characters instead of them pushing, you know,
Ethan.
But you know,
at least we know Ethan's done after this one. Hopefully,
yeah. I mean, if they're trying to end a story, you know, we'll see what happens. But you know, they really just wanted to throw that in there. They were emphasizing 2 points, and that was with the developer breakdown. You know,
it's nuts. Like seriously, what's nuts? If Ethan dies in this game, or if his story's over and he's never seen again, whatever happens, right? He will join the ranks of Steve Burnside,
Billy
Cohen, and Carlos Oliveira as like the only, and Luis Serra, unless Heisenberg's Luis.
Yeah, right.
He's not. I'm just kidding. He's not. But he will join those ranks of those mainish characters, which Luis, I wouldn't even say is really a mainish character because you don't play as him. But like those characters, bro, will have closure before any of our original 4 will. Before Chris, before Leon, before Jill.
Yeah,
before
I mean,
Claire.
That's the one thing we wanted to see, you know.
That's why Ethan's so bad. And that's why we don't like Ethan.
It takes away from further development of characters that, you know, they're not getting younger, they're getting older, and we're passionate about these characters. So, you know, the timeline is still going forward, and you know, so that's the thing. It's like they're only getting older. So we don't really, you know, besides spin-offs, you know, that's really the only thing we got in the other development. So it's like, fuck, man. So if they really fuck up Ethan in this one, we'll also be disappointed. You know, so far, again, they've been trying to keep a lot of the Ethan backstory stuff hidden, and like what the characters' motives are. They're just showing us a bunch of the village and the houses and what we're going to be up against for the fear factor. But yeah,
dude, let's just,
it's just weird.
Pause for a second, right?
No.
What if Jill Valentine got her closure in a spin-off game? How would you feel? As a fan of the series since 99, 98?
I mean, that would blow. I actually would be disappointed because you don't do Jill like that.
They have been doing Jill like that, but you don't do Jill.
They haven't,
like
but you don't do that to end her off her story, which they haven't done yet. But we'll see
if they ever decide to end any of our characters' stories.
I mean, Claire's direct-to-video.
Yeah.
Jill's direct-to-video. And, I say direct-to-video as like a joke. It's kind of like, your spin-offs are your direct-to-video, and then your main number series is what goes into the theaters and what everybody sees.
Yeah.
So it's
Claire's the spin-off king.
It's like, that's what they've been resorted to. Now, I don't agree with that, and John doesn't agree with that. We don't want to see those are our favorite characters.
All four of them.
And of course, but now you finally get Claire, obviously told sandwiched in between a bunch of events going, in the past. So this rendition of Claire in Infinite Darkness and Leon is not continuing their story.
It's not.
It's just
before
a blip in time, and
it's
before
extra.
You can develop them in that time and what they were going through, but are they really going to change them that much?
No.
That's something that we'll probably see when we watch the show.
Can
and
you
if they do
just killed them?
Yeah, I know, right? We're changing everything.
RE6 never happened.
Yeah, like we're going in between. But yeah, so moving on to this next part though, the third trailer is very similar. This is when we're starting to get more information, post Tokyo Game Show and all that shit. It's kind of like the same thing. The bell tolls for us all. Lady D is on the phone again, so Dalmatresk is how you say it. Ethan said it in the demo.
Would she not? Dalmatresk? Dalmatresk? Dalmatresk?
I'll play it again.
Dalmatresk? Dalmatresk?
We're going to just say it like that, okay? Okay? Because we're going to get butchered in the comments. John, you're shaking your head. Okay? We're going to get comments. Dalmatresk. I didn't know that it was going to sound like an L, okay?
Listen, bro.
He said Dalmatresk.
Is what he said. She says Demetrisk. Brittany fucking Brombacher says Demetrice or Demetrice or Demitrice
and
or something.
And that's what Capcom told.
And Capcom told her it was fine.
So there's
the
a
Game
lot.
Informer person says Demetrescu or something.
We
said Demetrescu, which I don't know about you guys, but sounds the best. But Dalmatresk, bro, is not it, bro.
Dalmatresk is weird.
This just screams.
No one's going to understand how to say it.
This just screams that all the actors in this game...
You guys have a high school level education. Where is your pronunciation?
Those
are the comments.
Oh, the comments are
right
100%.
Now.
Well, it's actually Demetreski. It's like, well, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's
because
up
Ethan
your ass.
Ethan literally says Delmatresk. Or Delmatresk. I don't even know at this point.
Dalmatresk.
Lady Mommy Milkers. Okay?
Dalmatresk.
Dalmatresk is what he says.
And again, we have the video footage. We just played it for you. Yes. You saw it 2 times. Play the demo for yourself.
You probably saw it in slow motion, too.
This is the first time we saw it. We hear Lady Dalmatresk say it when she's sitting down and talking.
But you can barely
hear it because there's a bunch of fucking annoying-ass talking going over it. Yeah. But then, Ethan says it to the Duke while they're talking because, again, they kind of make Duke part of the story.
Delmatresk.
He's like, Delmatresk.
Everyone recorded their lines in a vacuum, and Capcom probably just said yes to all of them. I bet you she said differently in so many different things.
I hope not, because that's like a really bad. Like, you know how you like in films you have like continuity checkers,
yeah.
Right?
Well, Resident Evil hasn't had continuity checkers since RE4, so what the fuck's it matter?
That's true. Yeah, there's a lot of weird. There's a lot of weird shit that they have.
Been a long time, comrade. Remember me from the game that didn't come out till after me?
Don't worry, I'll get development in the remake. We like Krauser. Right. I like Krauser. All right, listen, but
he's gonna be Arnold.
The development there is just as good as Ethan. No, I'm kidding. No,
honestly, it's probably just as good as Ethan.
It's just as good as Ethan.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
His outfit's really cool though.
Yeah, I like his blade, but and he's good at mercs. But that's
he is really good at mercs. Another RE4 reference, which we could probably get out of the way real quick because it's not really a huge deal. But we do have there is an Easter egg in the demo for Castle where Duke does say, "What are you buying?" And then he goes, "Oh, that's just something a friend used to say." I'm putting my Lee, whatever you want to say, it's Lay, but he said Lee and whatever. I'm putting my Lee on. That was just a demo thing. It's not going to be in the actual game.
I think it's going to be in the game.
I don't know.
I think it's going to be in the game because too many people are going to they know how close they're touching on RE4 with a lot of these with the stuff that they're repeating and improving on. And I say repeating with all due respect because it's not a bad thing to repeat stuff that's in there. Yeah. So the Duke is really just pushing and expanding on what Merchant did before, but he doesn't just stand there. He has a conversation. It made Ethan say Dalmatresque, so now we can just sleep on that and just have it burn into our brains forever. The only thing I wanted to say more about the trailer 3 was the false camera angles.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't talk on this part because I'm going to get really hot. It's false advertising. Like Lady Dalmatresque. Dalmatresque.
This is what we're gonna have to say.
Yeah, Lady Dalmatresque. She her hanging up the phone and Chris smoking his cigar, whatever the fuck he was doing against the wall, looking at his phone or whatever in trailer 4. I know we're not there yet, but whatever.
We can go right into it because really trailer 3 just showed more of the castle.
Yeah.
This was the one where, the trailer 4 was one we just got at this showcase.
Photo mode.
Right.
Yeah,
photo mode.
Photo mode's
Photo
great.
mode is also confirmed. We can touch upon that.
Photo mode's great.
Don't
use it to falsely give me hope that there's going to be real fucking cutscenes in this game.
We wanted real cutscenes in Resident Evil 7. We didn't get that. We wanted it in this game. Doesn't look like we're getting it as well.
We're not getting it. Yeah. It's all going to be
in-game,
on rails.
no load times.
Now, to be fair,
they want to stress no load times, John. They want to stress the next gen. Do you see this, guys? They want to stress the triggers feel like an actual gun trigger. Oh my god!
You can't look around like an idiot while the cutscene's happening in Village because it is on rails. So that's a step up from 7 because most of 7 you can look around because it was built for VR. I know there's still people in denial about that. I'm sorry, I have no more words for you. But it was built for VR.
And it was built for VR. Capcom was like, right, you see this check? Yeah, sign right here. Make it VR. They're like, all right, well, I guess we're just making this game for VR because we're almost bankrupt. The dark days of Resident Evil.
Street Fighter 5 bombed in the beginning.
Yeah. More DLC instead of your actual sequel. Great. But it's okay, right? It's okay. Because now
we're bankrupt.
Because now there is no VR support. Do you see PS5 VR support for this? I don't.
I'm sure it'll be patched in, but that's besides the point.
I don't think so.
I
don't think so.
I
don't think so. I think they're cutting a corner here, and it takes them less time to do the VR. It's easier for them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that has got now. The only thing that fucking stayed was the Sony exclusive fucking promotional stuff, which we see game developers do all the time. That's why the Sony fans got everything else first. But next Saturday, or whenever you're watching this upcoming Saturday, because it's coming out before then, you can play the demo if you missed it on multiplat. That's the only thing that's left over. The VR did not come over to
and those are new things too. They weren't on the PS4, like the adaptive triggers. Which I'm a big fan of. I think the adaptive triggers are awesome.
If you like it, it's again you can shove the controller right up your fucking ass. No,
hey man, I know we sit on opposite we sit on opposite spectrums with that. I love the gimmicks. I think it's what sells consoles. To be honest with you.
Yeah,
gimmicks.
Yeah.
That's why
listen,
the Wii did so well.
It plays good on PS5, so that's all. I'm just making jokes, but PS5.
But the VR being built for the VR was a gimmick that wasn't ready. Number one.
No.
It was like, what was the fuck? Outbreak, like Resident Evil Outbreak.
Shout out to Perry. We do got a VR in.
Yes,
I got a VR. He hooked us up. So we'll be doing
something's brewing.
We'll be doing. I wonder if we could possibly play with that, considering Anthony, we're a channel called Let's Talk Resident Evil.
Don't go tell Aunt Rhodey, guys.
Yeah.
Don't go tell Aunt Rhodey.
Don't go tell Where's Barry we're playing it. No.
Oh, man. Where's Barry's going to fucking flip out.
He's going to be like, holy shit, you guys are playing my favorite game on VR? Whoa! Whoa!
Did you guys hear about my theory that Chris is a clone and they're cloning him in the factory? I love you, Where's Barry, but that's fucking whacked out.
That's amazing. I like how you even put that in your video. Like, maybe it's the Chris's clones.
Yeah,
really.
I watched that video. It was great.
Good video,
I love when
man.
he was like, yeah, shout out to Where's Barry. If you're watching this, bro, we love you. But yeah, I love how he's like, it was like the X-Files, bro. It's like the Chris clones are going, and he was like, do. Are these clones of Chris Redfield?
Hey, man, people were talking about, Chris Redfield being cloned since he looked like a crackhead, and they clearly changed his appearance because of this. I'm telling you, bro.
They had to.
That was bad. It looked bad, okay? It looked fucking terrible.
Crackhead Chris was so
This is,
bad. You can't. Oh, by the way, real quick before Anthony continues,
right? You fucking asshole.
Before the comment section starts going off on us, 7 and 8 are synonymous, guys. You can't separate them from each other. It's a direct sequel. We need to compare. We need to talk. We need to hearken back to the days.
And this is a podcast, so deal with it.
Exactly. I just want to make sure that you're not going to get assaulted in the comments for saying, go tell Aunt Rhodey to touch her finger up her ass or whatever the fuck, her fucking demo finger.
I have that finger, and it has been up my ass.
It's true.
It's a USB finger, guys. There's only so much you can do with it. I chose to shove it right up my ass.
That's where we should store the fucking thumbnails.
Yeah, right up there. But yeah, so there's a lot of but there was a difference between the rollout for 7 and this because the demos didn't have actual story elements being shown. And with trailer 4, it opens up with the umbrella pillars, and we see the panning shot of the fucking the mountains, and the clouds are all coming in, and it looks fucking all sparkly. And then you see Heisenberg, and he's like, he drags Ethan through the fucking caves like a fucking asshole. He's like, listen, you see all these gears on him and shit like that. He's covered in fucking hammer dust and scrap and
he's like getting dragged through it or whatever.
And we see lichens climb the walls and stuff like that. There's a shot where Ethan's looking at him climbing over the walls.
And they're eating the half bodies.
Yeah, they're eating the half bodies. So this was shown during the showcase. So obviously we wanted to see something new, and we didn't really we got the whole Mother Miranda has always protected us, which Elena says because this kind of was showing what we're exactly going to see in the demo again. So the lichens burn down the house. It does kind of rehash some of the stuff we saw in the first trailer. It kind of goes back to that, and what we're going to see in the Village demo. So let's just talk about, before we talk about the gameplay press release, let's just talk about the Village demo.
Okay.
Just
you want to talk about the Maiden demo?
Oh, that's true. The Maiden demo did come out, I guess, before trailer 4, right?
The Maiden demo was
It came out
before
after the
4.
first showcase. They were like, all right, this is more of like a tech demo kind of thing.
And it was PS5 exclusive.
Was it
not
PS5
Sony,
exclusive?
PS5.
Yep, PS5.
Yeah.
And we streamed it. We got everyone's opinion. Obviously, you play as a no-name. You wake up in the dungeon. There's some files there. There's bodies. There's remnants.
She doesn't speak.
She doesn't speak. We see the blood cellar, the wine,
which we did have a theory on. She has a shame mask.
Yes.
That probably bridles her tongue, or not bridle. I don't know why I said that. But it probably keeps her tongue down.
Yeah. So there is the bodies in the barrel that you can hear in there, which is very disturbing. Everything's crunchy and punched into the barrel. Everything's all bloody, and
Caution tape.
There's all caution tape everywhere, and then obviously there's like a little body that drops. There's always got to be a body that falls, and it looks very creepy. Now this wasn't a combat demo. The Village demo we're going to talk about in a little bit was a combat. This was more of like a tech test and to see how everything was running, and to show off the castle.
Setter.
Yeah,
like
you see the dungeon, you see the wall, the wall of warriors with the swords and the shields. You see a lot of stuff that is pushing the consoles and stuff like that. And when you leave the dungeon and you go up to the castle, and you see the daughters and Lady D from a distance. and she's talking to the daughters, and then the daughters can obviously attack you in this. They form with bugs, and they kind of can teleport through walls, so you can kind of see their ability. And then Lady D at the end, as you open the door, she holds you up and takes out her claws, shows them off for the first time, and kills your ass. So you die in the maiden demo.
And that's when the simpening was happening.
That's when the simpening.
That's
really
when the
started.
simp was born.
Yeah,
that was really where the mommy milker came from.
Yeah, once everyone saw her, and
the crazy daughters biting
they
you.
wanted to be stepped on, and they wanted to have all this stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah. Go buy our shirt too.
Yes,
we got a Village shirt down below.
Yes.
You can go check that out. Representing the Lady Dalmatresque. There's a lot of there's a lot of we're moving up. We just graduated college, and I just did a book report. So it's I'm just fucking around. But there's a time
the Village of Shadows.
I'm doing my homework. You see all this, guys? This isn't fucking hours of notes. This is a fucking book report on Dalmatresque.
Hello, this just in. We have no fucking idea how it happened, but her name is pronounced 7 different ways in 10 minutes.
Dalmatresque, ooh.
What is it? What is it? The PR? What is it? The little thing Leon answers, and it's that dumb girl from Oculus.
Oh my god, yeah, fuck it. Instead of Hunnigan, it's
like
she's like,
we did it.
And if you like the VR system, it's like, oh
it
no.
It looks like we did it.
Oh no.
It's like, shh, Hunnigan, this is bad. What happened? They don't know how to say her name.
We're
enough about that though. I just think you reminded me.
No, RE4 VR is a whole nother video that we're gonna have to record because John was gonna play it. The thing is that
I'm gonna fucking flip the guns.
You better flip the fucking guns.
Them, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Because I'm either flipping the guns or I'm flipping my bean.
You ever want to be Leon S. Kennedy? This is your chance. You can be Leon Scott Kennedy, motherfucker.
They dropped the Scott. They don't say that anymore.
Bitch, it's Leon Scott Kennedy. Fucking.
I'm just telling you.
It's okay because Capcom's gonna change it and confuse everyone in the comments down below.
They dropped the Scott.
Don't you like that?
No, I don't. I actually hate them. Not Capcom, the people who decided to drop the Scott.
You like the Scott?
Leon Scott Kennedy is how he's always been. Leon S. Kennedy. And now all of a sudden he's Leon Kennedy.
What fucking bastards.
Yeah, bro. And that's not all they changed. You know what else they changed? Fucking Lady D's pronunciation.
5 million times.
Literally, it's worse than the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword Fee-Fi debacle, where motherfuckers in their YouTube videos actually go Fee-Fi. They say them both, bro. That's gonna be us. We're gonna be like Lady Demetrescu.
There's gonna be fans throwing darts at us. There's whoa.
Not throwing knives.
Well. It's great.
Like,
it's funny because we see more of this lady.
Just pick an easier name. Just pick an easier name.
We see more of her, but we don't know how to say her name.
No, we see the most of her. Everybody calls her Mommy Milker, bro. It's not a meme, guys. I'm not kidding. People call her Tall Lady. Like she's the only tall lady in existence. I mean, she's really tall. People call her Vampire Queen.
Well, Tall Lady was easier because...
Yeah, because nobody fucking knew,
no one knew how to
name.
actually say it, yeah.
Alcina is apparently Alcina, which is dumb. That's what people are saying. Like the Romanian people came out.
The Romanian experts have come to fucking slay us.
And they're
in
like,
pronunciations.
it's actually Lay. It's actually
fucking...
It's actually Alcina. It's actually Demetrescu. Well, it's not that, guys. I'm sorry.
It's Dalmatresque,
It's Dalmatresque, apparently. Not that I'm memeing on our Romanian audience, because I love you guys. I'm just saying, the comment section...
It's not even people from Romania. It's just some fucking asshole in his basement. Like,
this just proves that you got to wait for pronunciations in games. That's what we talked about. We call it whatever we call it, and then once it's said in the game, we change it. Just the way that it is.
Yeah.
Because until it's said in the game...
They were just showing us these characters. They weren't like, and this is blah, 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 and this is how you say this, and this is... blah. And even if it was in Japanese.
How Village has been handled these last couple of weeks. I really think we should fit that in here.
We should fit that in here because
then the rest of the show is pretty much positive.
And this happened kind of in order of events. It was after the showcase. We were sitting there in silence waiting till spring for an update. Spring
Which
comes.
got delayed. Updates got delayed twice throughout Village. They were like, oh, we'll be more in the summer and then or fall or whatever, and then we didn't see anything. And then
Tokyo Game Show happened and pissed us off. So there was a lot of weird things that happened.
It was handled a little rocky at the beginning. And of my opinion, a little rocky at the end. Let's start with. Let's get this out of the way first, because I think this is the most controversial thing, and it's not really related to Capcom too much.
Okay.
How do you feel about them flying in game journalists and giving them roughly 5 to 6 hours of the game ahead of everybody else, and letting them info dump all of this stuff before the fucking release of the game 2 weeks early?
Yeah, that's a very disappointing thing, to be honest, because, we got the showcase and we thought, as co-streamers and as people that were getting this information,
sharing the information,
we thought that, that was going to be the most that we were getting was from the demos. Like, oh man, they're putting out, 2 demos. They're doing it weird, but, they're rolling it out weird, but they're doing something with it. And then they actually get to play the full game and all this information is out. And, obviously we could have reported on the brand new information, but we decided not to, like all the other RE channels and everyone else, because we were just like, man, we really just want to talk about the demos, once we play them, but we didn't get access to that. It was just, you can look at the demo and steal it and, talk about the video. We just didn't do that, but we're just
re-upload it or
we were just from. I'm not gonna try to, it was really a bummer because you didn't give any other content creators time to play it yet.
No, you didn't give it to anybody,
and you're giving it to people that really aren't fans. Journalists obviously they have a job to do, so they don't want to. They might be fans or whatever. I'm not gonna name names, but for the big shot ones, but it kind of sucks because all this information was out there. It's one thing if you let them play it and they type about it later or it's published later, but this is always going to happen. They're always going to get first dibs, unfortunately. But yeah, the way it was rolled out was kind of a bummer because it was right after trailer 4, right after the hype and us streaming everything, and we were working hard on a video, and it's I edited a video and then put it out, and then it's oh, by the way, that video you put out is now, that video you stayed up late trying to get done and start editing now is completely irrelevant because, by the way, the embargo is being lifted. And I think that kind of we're just really?
It demoralized me.
Right.
And
we're going to talk about said gameplay in this now because we
yeah.
just waited because we were just well,
after
fuck it at this point.
Yeah, I literally felt terrible. I was just I don't understand, why they would do that. Why they would let them go play it and record footage a significant chunk of footage, give them access to a significant part of the game.
And you were trying to be secretive the whole time,
Capcom.
The whole time. Even with this demo.
The whole time.
Only to play for the half-hour time period.
That was the next thing we were going to talk about. That was the next thing I was going to say. How do you feel about that? Which we'll get to.
We'll get to. But it plays into that the psychology of okay.
They're fucking freaking out. There's leaks. They were taking people down.
And
they were suing people.
And you're just letting.
Maybe, I don't know if they're actually suing people, but they were probably.
And you're just letting them dump all this info on people that don't already want to be spoiled.
So guarded.
And we've been trying to also keep spoilers away from our community. So not only do we have to worry about that, but
then how do you tell the community that you can't talk about stuff Capcom officially okayed?
Exactly.
How do I monitor the Discord?
Right. Because up until this point, we were monitoring the stuff that got stolen from Capcom. That information, unfortunately, spoiled the whole game. So up until this point, that was something that was being
major
prevented.
Plot points of the whole game, yeah.
Right. Not everything. But now that the game actually is in people's hands in some countries, it's getting to that point where it's showing up online, bro, and you can easily be spoiled even on YouTube before they get to it,
The whole game's going to be out there.
Some people that are watching this, later and you're not watching this stuff as it's coming out, thank you for still sticking with us. I know there's some people that are waiting to catch our live streams or waiting to watch videos like this after they played it, because sometimes they see it and they're like, enough's enough, I'm done for now, right? And then some people don't even, like, for me, for movie trailers, I barely even watch them before I go to see them. Game trailers, I'm kind of the same. When it's Resident Evil, obviously it's different because we have to. But I understand from another person's perspective why they would feel that way. And why they would have to do it, that.
The art of trailer making has fallen drastically over.
But yeah, man, it's just like, why even, like, why did you want to make?
What's
it
the purpose
secret?
of us at that point? Like, what's the purpose of your content creators who you're creating co-streams with, who you're putting out there? Your big names, your Resident Evil channels. What is the purpose of us if we can't build the hype for the communities that we've built? All of us. What is our purpose if you're just going to give it to the big journalists? And a lot of people say, like, oh, well, the big journalists will get the most eyes. That's true. Why not give it to both of us then? Like, why let them? I know they can't fly everybody out there. This was a specific case. But my point is, if you were going to fly them out there to get them ready to cover this game, it should have been a lot closer than 2 weeks before it. Like, they shouldn't be able to spoil 5 hours of the game.
Yeah, because Resident Evil 2 and 3 Remake were different scenarios, because this is based off material that essentially the story still ends the same way. And we know this now because they're both out. They were told a little bit differently, but they're essentially the same beats, right? This being a whole new different thing, and it's brand new, and the way they were trying to be secretive about it in the developers' messages and the breakdowns, it's like, what the fuck?
You already showed enough. Now, before fucking comment Andy comes in the comments and is like, well, 5 hours of the game isn't out. It's only 22.5 minutes or whatever. Yeah, I know. If you think that, the likelihood of that being the only thing that's going to come out before this game comes out from these big publishers is almost asinine to think it's going to be the only thing.
Those articles are probably already done, ready to be published.
There's going to be another wave coming out.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
got 5 hours.
We're less than 2 weeks, guys, away. So anything goes at this point.
Yeah.
It's out there. It's people in people's hands. Their videos are being done.
Yep.
Stuff's being written, and we're sitting here covering the shit that we ideally can cover with our own equipment and our own stuff. But
also, they didn't get the game early, obviously. They were flown out
there, yeah.
It kind of sounds like we're saying this, so I want to be very clear. It's not that we're jealous of this company for being flown out there and flying. I mean, obviously we would.
Most people are going to say that.
Yeah, most people are going to say that, which is fine. It's not that we're jealous, right? We're not even the biggest Resident Evil channel right now. So, like, obviously we're not going to get all the traction that we can from this. Even, Residents of Evil will get more, IGN will get more, GameSpot will get more, whatever. That's not the point. The point is, why would you be so secretive with your game all the way up until this point? You have a good thing going, and then why would you purposely make it harder for your fans? Not like us, because this is our job, right? We cover it.
Exactly.
We know the spoilers. We know everything. Right. Whatever. Why would you make it harder for them to stay unspoiled for your game to come out? Like, why? What did it add? What did those gameplay hours add? When we saw, which we're going to break it down.
Yes.
Those 20-something minutes, whatever it was, what the hell did we see that needed to be shown? That we couldn't have gone in blind with? What does it even unpack? Like, what even happened?
And it would cut out certain segments of it too, or it would like fade in, fade out, and it would like skip around a little bit. Why didn't you just
let your audience experience that, man? Like, that's the purpose. That's the whole reason why we're upset about it, is because, like, no, just don't do that. Like, don't do that. Let the embargo lift a day or two before the game comes out, not 2 weeks before the game comes out. If you want to show the first 30 minutes of gameplay, I'm about that. I don't care. The first 30 minutes is fine.
And that's what they put out, essentially.
Yeah.
Cut up. But that wasn't just the info that they put out.
Yeah, and there's no way 30 minutes of gameplay is the castle already. You're probably not even in the castle. There's a whole intro sequence they didn't share, which I applaud, But that was our feelings going into that before we watched the actual content. Once we watched the actual content, it was like, okay, They didn't really show anything. This is not really anything crazy, blah, 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 blah. And then there's the scene with all the house leaders, and you're just like, why? Like, why? Why did you show this?
They showed everything.
Like, why did you show Miranda standing there with the house leaders? Why can't it just be a mystery? Like, why did you show this? There's no reason people should be experiencing this shit and getting their little articles ready and stuff to spoil everybody. If you're going to release the game early to people, release the game early within a reasonable amount of time. That's fine. I don't care if people play it. I don't care if people play it. Then we don't. Don't lift the embargo 2 weeks ahead of time. I think it's stupid. And it might just be an us problem. I don't know if our viewers, right, are really
I was going to say, this is probably just stuff that we're...
I don't know if our viewers really will all understand. I know it'll vibe with some people, though, because there are people who are literally avoiding everything they can. And this is the kind of shit that happens that ruins these games for those people.
It does.
And why should anybody be like, well, you stop being sensitive or stop being whatever to those other people? I've already said it before. Spoilers don't ruin anything for me. I don't care. I have to play it myself to see it. I have to watch it myself to see it.
Exactly, yeah.
Spoilers never ruin anything for me. But I know I've seen firsthand how spoilers can ruin an experience for a lot of people.
And it already has for this generation of gaming.
Yeah.
So because of the internet age and everything could be a click away from a spoiler around any corner of any website or any, even YouTube.
People use
thumbnails. That's why we haven't done spoiler related stuff with it. We've been careful with how we have to approach this, and then because the gameplay press release does show the most we've seen so far out of all the press releases.
It shows new stuff,
brand new stuff,
which is the problem.
Yeah,
like that's the
And then on top of the info that they're dumping, still, like John said, there's still more information that they got that they're obviously containing, because you don't want to blow the load and just be like, oh, yep, here it is. We're putting all our articles out. We're showing all this. Right. So they're going to just, week before, leading up, like all that stuff is going to just roll out. And
before we go to the demos, we got to talk about this half-hour timed bullshit.
Oh, right, yeah. So with the demo, as most people know at this point, the rollout of these were very strange because they brought back the one-shot demo. Well, not really one-shot, but a timed demo to where it's a half-hour a session, a profile, and you only get to play that for 8 hours. So if you're working, or if you're busy, or you're sleeping, or dealing with life stuff, you can easily miss it.
I thought you were going to say you can eat ass.
You can eat ass.
Yeah, literally. That's what Capcom says, bro.
You can easily fuck off, because if you can't play it, that's too bad. That's pretty much what Capcom said. Now, the thing is that we were able to play it, but again, you had to go through the hoops of like, okay, get footage, make another profile, has to be a PSN profile, has to be online. And, what happened with Perry is that he was playing it, past the 4 a.m. time, didn't know it was ending exactly at 4 a.m. and he still had a half hour left, and I kicked him out. It didn't matter if you had, 18 minutes left, 20 minutes left.
He had he said he had like 20 something minutes left, I think you said?
Yeah, something like that.
23 minutes left or something. He was like 7 minutes in.
So,
and it was just like...
yeah, and he might have played tonight with the castle demo, but it shows that it was very, very strange. And again, going back to what we were just talking about, why are you trying to make it secretive and have these small demos right before the fucking embargo gets lifted? It's literally the week before, bro, that like it was like not even the next week, it was the next day.
The next day or two.
It was like 2 days.
Yeah, it was like
48 hours.
Days. And we were just sitting here,
and we're like, it's time. We're sitting here rushing. I'm trying to get stuff done because we got to record. I got work the next day.
And it's not like the demos they had a limit. You could get to the end of the demo and be done the demo. What they did just want you to replay it a couple times? Like, what the fuck is that?
That's what I don't understand. So
like,
the rollout,
what is the purpose of
rollout of these demos, including the castle demo, because it's as right now the castle demo is still live, but only until 4 a.m. tonight.
Yeah.
Or in the a.m., if you will, in the morning. But it's just like, even with at this point, if you knew you were going to do this, make the castle demo just like an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know they're doing it next week on multi-plat. They're going to make it an hour. But even then, the third demo, it's only not pointless for people that aren't on PlayStation.
Yeah.
For people that played on PlayStation and got the early access or whatever, you're still dealing with the same bullshit time demo next week. You'll just be able to do it again.
I feel worse for the people who are going to be playing it on Xbox and PC.
Because they probably already gotten all that shit spoiled already.
Well, not just that, but if they're playing
play
it
it themselves
and they didn't spoil it, they only have an hour for both. So they pick one or the other. If they go into the village and do everything and whatever and see everything and all that, they might come out of village 40 minutes in and only have 20 minutes for the castle.
Yeah.
And then what happens when the castle's done? They're done. Or they make a new account. Whatever.
Exactly. And most of them probably will because they've waited long enough at this point and they couldn't even get maiden at this point. So it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's bullshit.
They're also not getting maiden.
I think they're not. And so I think it's just...
Maiden was PS5
think it's stupid.
only. I don't mind exclusive stuff.
I don't mind exclusive. No, I
I
think it's stupid with the time. Do whatever you want with the exclusive marketing. I just don't think the time stuff is right. I think it's I think it's really kind of like, hypocritical why you would turn around and, have this gameplay demo come out and have like the gameplay half hour and have the 5 hours of information come out slowly but surely. Not even slowly, but immediately.
Yeah.
Very very disheartening. Not really a fan of that. And I guess that brings us into the first demo, right? We'll talk about that now. The Village demo was the first one that they gave us, and we played the shit out of it. And if you saw our breakdown, we obviously talked about that. But basically it follows Ethan running into Elena and Leonardo, and you run into those characters, and it goes into Louisa's house. She takes him in. Ethan's an outsider. They don't want to take him in. And they take him in, and it's the whole classic, movie thing of like, taking in an injured, soul, taking in someone who's injured from the outside and bringing them inside, and it not really turning out well. And it turns to a Lycan, and, well, Ilulian had the same thing. He died right outside the gate. We didn't know what happened to him, too. But goes into there, they all gets burnt down. Elena tries to, she shoots her father as he tries to attack Ethan, and then she, Ethan's like, come with me, and she, hesitates last second and, doesn't jump, and it looks like she's about to jump, and she falls down.
Tragically,
and then Ethan's like, why,
disappears
why is everyone dying on me? Why does this shit always happen to me? Kind of showcasing Ethan trying to act a little bit more in this demo. But really the big thing with not only, the characters that we saw in these trailers to inevitably just die in a demo, we were able to get our hands on a gameplay portion of the game. So we actually were able to use the Lemmy. We used the M8 shotgun. We had these things that were there.
The landmine
as well.
Really cool.
The flower,
which is apparently like a generator.
Yeah.
Explained very poorly in the demo. Apparently
people were like, the flower is not for cover,
even though it says in the demo to use it for cover.
Check that one out. Comment section.
Check that one out.
But yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, it's so. But we did see barrels in the gameplay that we got. So we
didn't get no barrels in the demos.
Not in the demos, but of course we see it in a fucking video. But yeah, it's the same kind of thing. So
who did get barrels? The people who are flown in to play the game.
Exactly. They got the red barrels. We got stuck with the flowers. They were like, yeah, you might be cover, it might not be. You can't really use them in the demo.
You can shoot them like once.
The good thing about the village exploration, I think we could both say, is the fact that you can walk around, because it does open up with the old lady saying that the bells are tolling. Everything's been going fuck up since you've come here, and your baby and all this bullshit, and Mother Miranda has always protected us, is what Elena said. And they're not protecting anyone.
Yeah.
So
the village demo was awesome.
The village demo was definitely. I said the castle was my favorite. I think visually it was, but I definitely think the action moments in the village demo were great because we were able to deal with the combat and the tall grass and the lichens.
Tall grass, breaking the environment.
Breaking the environments,
getting
the fences,
treasures,
yes, shooting down bird cages, yes.
The village was really showing like a different side, and that's what I was saying earlier. On stream, or was it on this? I don't even remember. But I was saying how it's very possible that the 4 sections of Village might really be 4 different elements of Resident Evil. You have your RE4 action in the Village and with Heisenberg. And then you have your stalker enemies with the 3 daughters and Lady Dimitri or Delmatrice, whatever the fuck he says. Delmatresque. Sorry, guys. I fucked that name.
Delmatresque.
Ethan's like, look at me act, guys. I can act, guys. Delmatresque.
I can really phone it in this time.
Like Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter. You if you know, you know.
Yeah, buddy.
But yeah, it's like, it's one of those things like, what the fuck? What was I saying? Oh, and then the other 2 houses, which we really don't know a whole lot about, which I'm excited for, and I hope that we don't spoil anything with that. Don't do it.
I'm going to spoil it right now.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't spoil it. IGN and Touchy Sans everywhere.
They're coming for you.
It's already premiering tomorrow, I'm sure. It's already uploading.
Yep.
But I'm really excited for them. Maybe they're different elements. Maybe one's a stalker. We have the stalker. Maybe one's a stealth. Maybe one's really heavy in puzzles. You know, there's a whole bunch of different things. Maybe one's just mechanically annoying, like the boat harpooning. You know, like maybe you got to do a lot of crazy shit. I think that would be really unique, and I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, there should be, you know, the 4 different elements of it, like the Village, you know, just being able to see it in the demo was really cool because the environments, you know, looked great. They definitely were pushing the RE engine in this, so I think it's good to...
And it ran great. No frame drops ever.
Yeah, no frame drops ever. I mean, it seems to be, you know, definitely thriving on the new machines and better PCs, and I think, you know, seeing different aspects of it and different elements keeps the game, you know, refreshing and keeps it fresh, you know. Like I think like the Bakers, for me personally, just got, you know, kind of got stale with it, and with this I think it's definitely a fresh approach, like you mentioned. And we saw in this whole Village, when you go into the little church and you see that there's, you know, 4 different house members that are there, and you finally get to see the pictures of the other 2.
Moreau doesn't even talk.
Moreau doesn't even talk.
Yeah, in the thing, but yeah, you're talking about
in
the church.
In the church, yeah, because at this point in the particular demo and in the public press, there was nothing officially said. We were just looking at it, saying, "Wow, that it's pretty much confirmed."
Those are the 4.
And it wasn't confirmed, but it was confirmed, which is what we said. So it's like, come on, but yeah. So we saw that, and you know, you get it. Kind of gives you a rundown of the combat, and you can use the landmines and then obviously, like I said, the story elements that I kind of said really quick, because the story parts that happen, like I said, Leonardo and Elena go into Luisa's house. The cult from Mother Miranda that you saw in the trailer that are chanting all die. They're already dead. They're not really important to the story anymore. They're done. So that's all that happened story-wise in the Village. The real part of that demo was the exploration, was the eye candy of the RE engine, and just how smooth and fluent everything was with the combat. I'm a fan of the combat. I'm a fan of the item menu. The crafting menu will take some getting used to, personally. But
it is a little laid out weird.
Right. But the environments, though, were the big thing, and I like the fences and the breakable objects and the treasures that are hidden. I like the RE4 sound effects with the treasures.
And
I like
jars.
the little things. And the jars.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and obviously breaking items, now you just click X or A, and it just goes...
Yeah,
you don't have to take out the knife.
I think I noticed when you have the knife out, it doesn't show you that. You just stab it.
Right.
Which you might have seen me playing today. I preferred taking the knife out and stabbing it because I guess I was used to that.
Yeah, we have been really used to that here on the channel. We
I don't really know.
Take the knife out and go...
Let me tell you something.
But...
All right, let me tell you something. These demos are really good. I'm a huge fan of the demos.
I'm a fan of the demos themselves.
Yes.
I just don't think we are fans on the channel of how they set them up.
Everything
and
else
them.
around them, I think, is bad.
Because I want to clarify that, because people be like, well, what do you mean? You were just talking about the marketing and all this stuff.
The demos themselves and what is in these demos,
they're great.
Were great.
Good selling
points.
points.
The way the Village, yes.
Good way to get excited. Good way to start conversation in the community. We love stuff like this because it's new info to dig up and talk about.
Please, when the game comes out, let these be permanent demos. Just let us play them again. I want to see them again. Just please launch them as permanent demos.
I think they should, depending on, the time that it takes for some people to even get the new consoles.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying,
like
bro.
keep them out as a selling point to the game and don't have them timed. Because they did that with the RE2 one-shot demo when they pulled that. They put it out on the store. They put out another updated version of the demo so people could still play it and be sold on the idea. You want to still sell your game.
And they updated that shit.
They did. Added the Nemesis roar and all that crazy
roar.
shit. So it's little things like that are really cool. And obviously Capcom, with Resident Evil 7, the demo rollout process was keeping people interested, was keeping people talking because the dummy finger and stuff like that. But those demos were not story based like these demos. We already know what happens to some of the characters that we saw in these 2 or 3 or 4 trailers that we've seen shots of these characters.
Assuming
so it's interesting that they're doing that. Yeah, I mean, unless they change what happens in the demos, but like honestly, it doesn't look like it.
I don't think so.
It's too far done, and unless they switch it up and throw us a curveball, I don't really think they're thinking like that. I think it's just more like, all right, this is it, and that's why it's timed. So you don't, you may miss out on some exploration moments, you may miss out on some treasures, miss out on some Duke upgrades, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I mean, and then the village demo, we did get our demon door.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it wasn't really as big as we thought, but again, it's one thing that was kind of done in the demo. It's just 1, 2, 3.
At least it's castle.
Put 2 crests in there, and it's done.
And there were still mysteries in the demo. They still left you like, what is that? What is that? Like the stone tablet behind those gates.
Yeah, Claudia or Claude.
Claudia, I think it was what it said.
Yeah,
Claudia. There's still little mysteries and stuff like that. And we got the new files too in the castle one. How did you feel about the castle demo? Because I guess we're going to move into that.
Yeah.
Because there's really nothing left other than her killing Eolian. Was really the only last thing.
And it leading into, Mother Miranda kills him, and then it's kind of like a shapeshifter.
Mm-hmm.
It alludes to that.
Yeah.
Really strange, very strange.
And then you open the doors and the demo ends, which was a perfect ending, because it's like, that's what you have to look forward to.
Right by the castle. Yep.
And then you don't even get to see the beginning of the castle. I think these demos are also really well placed, bro. Because then you wake up on the floor after she drinks your blood.
Yep. Yeah. It's in the same room.
Yep.
Yep.
And what's going on? Why is he not dead? Why was Cassandra the one who made this mess? The youngest, craziest one.
Because she said that the one daughter says that as she's chasing you.
Yeah. That's another thing. And I thought the demo was great. The combat was great. I really like these demos.
It was more visual than the village as far as
visually pleasing for you.
Visually pleasing for me. I like the castle. I like how dim lit it was. I like the files placed around and the creepiness. We also got that weird error message with the.
I was gonna say, I popped that on the screen because we do have that. That's weird.
That like a weird little. I think like a sound bite just like got rejected and it was like nope.
That's what I'm thinking. It was a sound bite. Like
who knows? It's fucking weird, but it's funny. But
I wonder if anybody else in the world even got that, or if it was just.
I don't know. We'll put it on the screen so you guys can see it.
Yeah.
But like, it was fun to explore. The castle, and I do think the playing it with headphones, it was effective on headphones, and I also think that the daughter chasing you is very effective, especially in the headphones, the sound effects, and you can stop her, as we found out after the fact. If you do shoot her in the demo with the handgun or the shotgun, you can like have her go away.
Yeah.
Which again is kind of
similar. And then she comes back after a couple seconds.
Right. So kind of like the other
where you shot her too.
We've seen.
I noticed.
Oh, okay.
So like wherever you shoot her and she disperses, when she comes back right to that location.
So it's kind of like she's rising back up.
Yeah.
In a sense, like knock her down,
like
like stuns
back together.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a stun.
And she always
talks. Yeah, always talks.
Ignorance is bliss.
That's the one thing, is that they're so nonchalant. They're so just like casual as they're doing it. Lady Dalmatresque says the same thing. So you don't see that in this trailer. You just see, or this demo, you only see the daughters, but you see her at one point when they're crawling.
Gameplay.
Yeah. I was gonna say we saw her in the gameplay. We're still gonna break down, but this had the puzzle. We obviously see the puzzle. The 4 statues go up.
Mm-hmm.
There is hope, sadness, pleasure.
Not hope.
Happiness,
sadness, pleasure, and anger.
Yeah. So, and there's obviously something that goes on those statues, which we didn't see.
Well,
we
saw in
the setup.
in the game what was it? It was in the gameplay, I think. There's one of them had the Mask of Sorrow, which was probably the mask.
Like one of the key items. Yeah.
One of the key was the Mask of Sorrow. So I'm guessing that's
there's plenty of rooms to explore.
4 masks again.
Yeah, 4 masks. The 4 returns to haunt us all, and a lot of rooms to explore in this demo. Obviously,
like that,
there's a cool sense of exploration and items that you can pick up. Still, there's like a lockpick and doors, little drawers you can't open that are just kind of there that we haven't really cracked yet, or if you can at all. But it does kind of seem to end really quickly because there's less cutscenes. It's just more so of like castle exploration, pushing that a little bit more. And when you get chased by the daughters, you have to go down into the dungeon at one point, and that's where you fight the ghouls. You shoot them. You have to. They have swords and stuff like that. And we do get introduced to the Duke in between all this. So the Duke is there, and the Dalmatresk, the way it's pronounced is because in this cutscene, they do have a little conversation about, your daughter and Rose, and, they mentions, Dalmatresk. And of course they actually gave it, which I was surprised. I think what made that more of my favorite as well within the castle was like they actually gave you a chance to check out the Duke's upgrades, even though it was minimal.
Kitchen.
No Duke's kitchen. But you get the upgrades and the firepower and stuff like that, and the upgrade and I don't think you can get more weapon case because there wasn't enough currency. But maybe if you went back to him at the end,
sold everything and sold your Lemmy, I think you could buy it for 10.
Yeah, so it's like if you really wanted to do that, but most people probably just wanted to do firepower and ammo capacity.
Might be able to get
it. I just upgraded the handgun in my run. So,
because you can also sell your ammo.
You can.
And your health.
Yes, you can. So, we'll talk about that, I guess, too, because, the Duke himself is just like the merchant, if not improved. You know what I mean? He doesn't just stand there and doesn't say anything. Now he's just like,
Yeah.
He's just like the Duke. He's just the Duke. He's just some guy that's just chilling around the events of everything. And, it just seems like it's an upgraded merchant. It's the same.
I was going to say,
really
it feels like they just took the RE4 merchant, took the feedback players have been given for years, and then just mastered it.
They just did it. Yeah.
He's fine. I think he's great.
Yeah, I think he's great.
I think he's great.
Yeah.
I think the shop's going to work great.
Yep.
I think the Duke's Kitchen's going to also work great.
And we've been saying that since we saw him, officially.
I'm cool with him. I don't have any qualms. I think the little Easter egg that we talked about earlier with him referencing the merchant in RE4 was awesome too.
Yeah, him referencing the RE4 merchant was great.
What are you buying?
Shout out to Meg for that in the live stream.
Yes, Meg.
Yeah.
Thank you, Meg.
Yeah, because we had to go. You got it in the upgrade screen, didn't you? You had to
just
go
sitting on the screen. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So he does say it. He might say some more weird Easter eggs as when you'll probably see him in other situations in the game, so which they confirm, so maybe his dialogue will change because of that. But and then the ghoul fight in the basement, in the cellar, you know what I mean. Obviously we did see the painting of the 3 daughters.
Yes,
that was a
and
big
none
thing.
of them were blonde, but they might have had wigs on for the painting.
Yeah, it was very obviously very old-timey, very very classic looking.
Or is one of the daughters a fake?
Dun dun dun, fake daughter confirmed. No. Yeah, there's a lot of weird.
We're gonna eat those words.
There's a lot of weird imagery in there. Obviously, you still get the wine, cellar. You still get the creepy vibes there, and you do see Alcina take a bottle and walk away,
which is probably the bottle you need for that puzzle upstairs.
Yes.
So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna shoot it out of her tits?
I don't know.
Like
it could be a tit. It could be a
hat?
tit bottle. It could be a
tit for tat.
A tit for tat trophy that you have to actually earn in the game by
God, don't give them
by
ideas.
bouncing 2 back and forth.
Don't give them ideas.
There's ways you can do that.
You have to play rock paper scissors with the daughters.
You do also see the puzzle that you saw in the gameplay that we're going to talk about, where you have to take a ball and roll it and go across the bridge, and it looks like you'll have to do that while you're being chased. But again, we didn't get to play that because it was only seen in the gameplay, which we'll still talk about coming up. But yeah, I guess there's a lot that goes into, why they wanted to show us, particular parts of the castle.
Yes.
We suspect the castle is going to be a larger part of the game. Some people are saying no. Some people are saying,
I personally think it's going to be pretty much in 4s. I think the castle is going to be 1/5 of the game. Each of the houses will be 1/5, and I think that the whole intro sequence will be 1/5.
And yeah, and
Or maybe the rest will be 2/6.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of stuff to explore. I mean, it does feel like a rich environment. Like there's a lot to unravel, just as much as there was outside in the village, which is good. One thing that we also put down is there's a lot of treasures around. Obviously they are putting
Sometimes
a lot
it's
around,
like 2, 3, 4 crystal skulls in a row.
Yeah,
when I was killing them.
Yeah,
like did you remember seeing
that?
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, and it tells you too, what treasures are valuable and stuff like that that you have. And the elevator's in there too. It doesn't work, so the elevator we see later in another gameplay is also still not there. But so there's a weird kind of vibe that you get from
that
this
elevator down.
I think it's down
to that
so
room.
You descend down, yeah,
and then he goes across.
Yeah, so it's some kind of like passageway.
Oh, is that the elevator that leads down from her room?
I think so.
Maybe. Doesn't he ride an elevator after he gets there?
I think so. Yeah.
He rides it up, I think, and then in the gameplay he's riding it down. But I think he rides it up, and then goes to the window.
You probably just have to supply power. It didn't seem like it was working in the demo. But there wasn't really. There was more shown in the gameplay that was put out after or before, in between the demo. So, but overall, I like the castle. I do like the village demo more a little bit for the combat side of things. But the combat here was still fun in the basement, and I actually was able to beat it my first time round without even knowing. I thought I wasn't going to have enough time, but we obviously...
It was a lot shorter, yeah.
Yeah, some of the files that were there, too, were interesting.
Yes.
I think we should talk about that. You got some of them on your phone.
Yep.
We had some files in the village, but there was more files. Oh, right, yeah. There was more files that were
the
shown
one
in
file
this.
talks about the one guy who built the 4 labyrinths, I think they called it, or mazes. They talked about the 4 houses.
Yeah.
So who's that guy?
Yeah, who the fuck's that?
What is he? I'm curious to see what he's going to be doing with the story, if he even has anything. And it also said in the file that they all were unlocked or solved by the ball puzzles.
Yes.
So is there 4 ball puzzles?
Like around different parts of the castle?
And you use the touchy ball to...
move it between one and the other? There's a lot of balls everywhere?
I think the ladies like the balls, bro. And I think you put them in there and then it unlocks paths from the castle, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I mean...
that was interesting.
There was another file with a bunch of different names on it, too.
An additional file for the rejects. And one showed... they showed, like, good appetite, and then one was, like, showing uncontrollable hunger or something like that.
Yeah. So a little lore that they kind of threw in here as far as, like, stuff that we haven't really seen showcased in other videos. So I guess it was important to talk about them, too, because, the files here are good, and we like it now that we know that we can collect the files.
That was confirmed in a PlayStation blog, I believe.
So we
the
can
files
keep
will
those files.
Maybe not all of them, but some of the major ones will at least be in some type of journal that Ethan's going to keep.
You can pull.
I'm very happy about that. I think that's very important.
Yes. Yeah. So now we can confirm that as well. Overall, man, I like the castle. I think both demos are great. I'm in agreement with you.
Okay.
I think they're both. I think that they showed us enough up until this point, but unfortunately, it's because of everything else as to why we've seen so much rather than just
more.
the demos. But we'll talk about the gameplay, coming up. But did you like the castle demo?
I love the castle demo. I think it also ended on a great note, getting tackled to the ground by a crazy bitch.
Yeah, she does. I was gonna say that is how it ends. You rip off a board on the wall, and then she just tackles your ass down.
That was really cool, and that scene also in the trailers. We've seen that exact scene where she like licks him or whatever and then bites him and then fucking slices him and then he gets up and runs.
Yep.
So we've seen that before. I thought it was really interesting, the dialogue choices. That's why I feel like these demos aren't different than the main games. They definitely talked a lot about she says like ignorance is bliss, like Cassandra created this mess and I want to know what that means. Did Cassandra fall in love with Ethan or some shit?
Right.
That'd be funny. Because she did say, like, I was the one who found him.
Yeah.
Like, when they're all like, let's eat his flesh.
Yeah, and how does he escape, from to begin with? That's the one.
And he wakes up in that room, so what did they do?
Yeah.
What, did Cassandra fight everybody else? Like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, and just left him to his own device to not even be, like, restrained at all.
Because then Lady Delmatresque even says, like, Cassandra!
Yeah.
And then she comes and you, like, peek in the gameplay, he peeks over and he sees, like, she's like, I want his head, go!
Yeah, yeah.
And then she just immediately is on your ass, right? Like, she's just, like, going. She's like, yes, mother. I think the whole stepdaughter, fairy godmother element to Lady D and her 3 daughters was really effective.
I do like their characters a lot, and I really hope we get more backstory in the lore
for all of
them. Yeah,
that was the other thing too. Like, people are speculating the village is going to be a huge chunk and all that. I don't think so. I said on stream, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah.
Expect the castle to only be a portion, guys. Expect it to only be a portion.
Right.
And if for Lady Delmatresque to be given all this spotlight,
don't be disappointed.
I really
guys.
hope the other 3 get this much spotlight too.
I'm most looking forward to House Heisenberg. How about you?
I'm most looking forward to House Beneviento, the one with the puppet.
Now
I think that fucks with me. I'm cool with that. I like that aesthetic.
And the thing is too is that we're going to talk about the houses, the new houses, because people have been wanting us to talk about that. But we're going to talk about the gameplay that was put out, not by us, but it was put out by everyone else.
Yep, and then the one wherever it even came from, I don't even remember.
Yeah, it was used. It was re-uploaded by so many different people. You probably can't even find the source. But let's just say it was the same exact 30-minute gameplay that we all saw,
which was 28 something, 28, 22,
like
or
28,
like
22, and this opens up with Ethan waking up after an accident, which looks like Chris's men. The van's flipped over, and there's a cell phone ringing. He picks it up, and it seems like someone on the other side of the team, and he's like, what's going on with Chris? And, Rose and Boa, and he's like, what? You can't talk. You can't talk to this channel. What the fuck? And then it just breaks up, and then he's left without a phone because, what would be a horror scenario without your cell phone, your trusty, link to the outside world. And... yeah, it looks like the van flipped over in some regard. So it has
something
to take,
attacked him.
One thing that we talked about earlier was that the intro and what we've seen from house to village, something happened between there. Because from Mia getting killed and Ethan being, whatever was going on there, and the baby being taken away, like something happens.
And the fairy tale. Don't forget about the fairy tale.
And the fairy tale.
It's just a local tale.
It's just a local tale. All that shit. We haven't really we've seen it diced up and edited a bunch of times. We haven't really seen what exactly takes place. Different styles. Ethan finds, a little cabin at first, and then he has some supplies, and then as he walks through, he goes and also he goes when he first enters when he goes through the woods, because the shot from the first couple trailers where you see a shadow and Ethan walking, it's actually Ethan walking through the night in the woods, and
probably
then
stumbling from being all fucked up from the accident.
From some kind of accident, and then that we saw with the van, and then he comes out to the end and he sees the village, the castle, and the windmills as soon as he goes through the end. That's like
and
what
the house
sees.
I think you can even see on the hill,
and a little house. He makes his way to who we think is Ernest, who also has a similar hat to Julian. So
fucking names, bro. Fucking names. You guys think, right? Because Anthony's got a bunch of papers over there that we have like all these names written down. We're trying, guys.
And we do have everything written down.
Much written down.
Much written here.
And the names, bro, on demand, the names.
And it's like, midnight.
And then it doesn't help that they're pronounced wrong.
And it's late.
Eulidin. I call him Dollar General Luigi.
Basically, he has an old man golfer's hat, and he and he has the rifle.
Don't forget, it's what I forget which ones. One of them's brown and with a green jacket, and the other one's green with a brown jacket. With the checks, bro.
Yeah.
I think Julian has the green jacket with the brown hat.
And we soon find out that this is what we saw in the first trailer, where Ethan pulls back the curtain. And he shoots
Ernest
him.
has the green jacket with the brown hat.
Got it.
I think so, yeah.
This is, we soon find out that this is exactly what we saw in the first trailer, where Ethan pulls back the curtain and he fires the shotgun, and we find out he gives him the Lemmy to help him fight, And then, of course, the Lycans drag them through, and it fast forwards in the gameplay, all right? So it just goes right out there. So he gets the Lemmy. That happens. They get taken away. And we soon find out that the Lycan enemies are also... It cuts to the part where they're all dropping down, and we do see that they're being controlled. So there's that aspect of, their leader being controlled. So this Hammerman, Heisenberg, whoever it is controlling them. And we obviously get to see the Lycan horses as well come up, and they're all being controlled. So there's many moments where they're all standing around and jumping and waiting for the hammer guy to come down. And he jumps down and hits his hammer, and it seems like a pretty big scene. There's a lot going on there with that gameplay.
Which we think is after the scene where the four houses are all torturing him.
I think it's after that. I mean, yeah,
it sounds like he runs from that, gets back outside to the village, and then he's getting chased.
Yeah, because we mentioned earlier that he was shackled by Karl Heisenberg as he's being dragged, and it's interesting because then after that, like you said, we see Eva's tombstone. We see that outside before it cuts to him being captured.
And he obviously
wake
gets
up
there, yeah. And then time to wake
up. He's up. So
he's awake.
So finally, we're talking about the houses. Oh my God! We have the two other ones shown in this fucking clip. Okay. More information was updated on Capcom's official Resident Evil Village website. Mother Miranda, her bio was updated. It says the ruler of the village, with 4 lords serving under her, the villagers have devout faith in her. But her true face, hidden behind a mask, is just one of many mysteries surrounding the woman. The name of House Beneviento in a bio was also revealed by Capcom. Donna Beneviento, a puppeteer who lives in a fog-filled valley and one of the 4 lords who serve Miranda. She shrouds herself in mourning garbs and is always accompanied by her doll, Angie. House Moreau is now identified as Salvatore Moreau, a bizarre man who hides away in a reservoir, and one of 4 lords who serve Miranda. He hides his twisted form from prying eyes with a robe. Moreau doesn't really say much. It might seem like a house member that might not talk.
Maybe he doesn't. He does have a weird branch kind of crown, which I found was really interesting because it kind of resembles the crown of the 4 statues that are in the ceremony site. They kind of have like these branch crowns, and Moreau does kind of have like these different sticks on his head. Or maybe he's just a stickhead. I don't know. Maybe he's an idiot.
Listen, this scene, the way it starts...
I think even the little doll calls him ugly.
Right, and that's the thing. So Beneviento is the doll puppet master with the hooded lady, and the puppet looks fucked up, okay? It does look really fucking weird in this Resident Evil game. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to front. When I saw this gameplay, I was taken aback. Now, it looks like the fairy tale. It looks like that, but just in this weird, like, puppet. Like, that's what the art style reminds me of. Now, is it kind of cool? Yeah, I think the idea of some kind of puppet or puppet master or doll is creepy. So, it may work. I'm curious to see where they're going to go with it, But again, this was something where they did show us this whole scene of them arguing, and, Delmatresque is there, Heisenberg's there, and they're talking to Mother Miranda about, like, what they should do with Ethan, what they should do here.
He's like, get out of the way, ugly, I'm trying to see him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, he's awake. And then she runs over when she gets told to shut the fuck up. And then Heisenberg says to Alcina, Delmatresque says to Delmatresque that, like, if we give him to you, you're just going to go torture him privately or do things to him privately.
Yeah.
And that's no fun for everyone. Give him to me, and I'll put on a show for that everyone can enjoy.
Yes.
And then she's like, how gauche, or whatever she says.
And from the trailer, we saw him with the shackles, like, playtime, like, and you see Ethan trying to run away with the shackles on.
And he starts counting down. And all the Lycans are like, which means Mother Miranda apparently picked him.
Yeah, that's
He's
true.
He's like, yeah, sure, go ahead, do what you want.
do what you want.
And then he's just like,
And we seen the scenes of Del Matrescu in the castle saying, oh, you escaped my brother's, games and stuff like that. So obviously this is something that might happen firsthand, and it's a segment we're gonna have to play with him jumping down the hole and being chased and with the the shackles
Humpty Dumpty sat on a hole. Humpty Dumpty jumped down the hole.
Yeah, so I mean that's the real thing that with this gameplay leading into. I really want to spring that off of like talking about the houses now that we have an identity for all of them.
Yeah.
My favorite is still Heisenberg. I still think Carl Heisenberg. I want to see what happens.
I can tell you who my least favorite is.
You don't like Moreau?
Yeah, fuck that house.
Yeah,
bro.
Moreau seems definitely the least interesting.
In that.
But yeah, I don't know where they're going with that. Like, you know what I mean? We obviously know that with House Del Matrescu is led by Osina and her daughters, and they have the crest, features a sword and flowers growing over it.
What you
and
said
the wine
earlier,
business.
Don't forget. She also says her name differently in that cutscene. She says Dimitrescu or something like that. Demetrescu.
Yeah, we kept trying to play it back and, listen. Again, it was hard to listen to it, but, very strange. So, again, we're just going off of what Ethan says. So for this video, it's Del Matrescu, but for the next video next week, it's going to be a different pronunciation for all you lovely viewers out there. But, but yeah, so the wine business.
Yeah, the blood wine, vampire fantasy,
vampires, very, very fucking cool. So that's probably my second favorite. But the House Heisenberg, we know that his name's Carl because of Capcom's official village website. He leads the house, and his crest has a horseshoe with electricity coming out of it, which obviously alludes to his powers. We know that he has some kind of magnetic powers that were showcased several times in the trailer, even in the beginning of the one trailer where he's being dragged and you see the gears on the side of him as they go around. And then John's favorite house Moreau.
No.
The fish-looking monster.
No. It's Beneviento.
You don't like the crest of the mermaid, John?
No, I don't like
crest
him.
Of the mermaid.
I don't like his ugly
you gotta get on the boat. You're gonna have to take the fucking
his fucking
throw 'em and
Maximilian Pegasus, Thousand Eyes Relinquished fucking fish monster, and his dick face.
Now the fish monster fight might be good though.
Yeah, okay.
It might be good.
There's no harpoons on that boat, Anthony.
I don't know.
There could.
It might be a callback to RE4.
The fish monster does look cool. What if it's just not even a monster? What if it's just a fish?
Or it's not even him. Maybe that's just in the lake and
it's his lake
because it was drawn up on the map.
He is the windmills. It's definitely drawn.
And is that lady, the puppet master, going to turn into the weird Grim Reaper thing with the sickles?
I hope so.
Because that's also been discussed now that these houses are, out in the open for people to dissect.
I think so.
Yeah. Very interesting. But yeah, the crest with the mermaid on it is House Moreau, water-based. And House Beneviento is the crest with the half sun and half moon and the wind blowing through it. So Beneviento, I think, is the one I'm more interested in finding out more about. I want to find out more about Heisenberg and Del Matrescu as well, but Beneviento has me curious, like, why
that's
does
the one
that
that has
doll
me the most
live?
Interested. Yeah.
Why is it, like, voodoo shit? Is it fucking some weird shit? Like, it's definitely something that we've never seen before. A lot of this game is pushing stuff we haven't seen before with these houses, but, again, how these stories and origins are explained might make them all that much better because it does, matter if you have some weight to these characters, some weight to these new enemies and bosses and have some development. And it seems much more fuller and richer than what we got in Resident Evil 7 with the Bakers. It's going to be the obvious comparison here with this podcast because, that's what we're really looking at. We're like, all right, with this foundation of villains and characters, do we already like this more than 7? Our answer is yes. When we play the full game, we'll obviously do a review and answer everything, but
my answer will still probably be yes.
Yes. So there's going to be a lot to unravel with that. But yeah, so the gameplay, I guess the only other thing to really talk about in the gameplay, the scene where you're getting chased by Del Matrescu, where she actually chases you and you're trying to solve the puzzle and you hear her walking around.
It's Mr. X.
It's like Mr. X, right?
It's literally
she takes
Mr.
out her
X.
claws. She can hit you. She seems like, she could be really
her high
on
heels.
Your ass. She can obviously attack you while enemies are also out in the courtyard. She can follow you around. Those are like the big takeaways. But the biggest takeaway, I think, because we already kind of saw the press release photos of her being in the castle chasing you, was finding out more about the houses, because that's
Yes.
that was a big talking point
For sure.
within the whole community and everything like that. So, I'm happy that we finally talked about it here on the show, because people have been asking, people have been waiting, justifiably so. I think it definitely got me more excited. I mean, again, I think they should have waited to maybe showcase the other two. Maybe you could have just showed us Heisenberg and Delmatresque, but kept the others a little bit more in the background for us to speculate, like we did up until this point. But
we still don't really know anything about them.
We don't know a bunch,
so it's not too bad. I don't
Same
want
thing
to
goes for
give people
Heisenberg and Delmatresque.
We know the factory has the Chris clones.
Right. We don't know really
the really close to
the
Chris
origin. No. We don't know the origins of the factory and stuff like that. Like, so
we know a lot about Demontress,
right?
Delmatresque,
right? But I guess the castle itself and like how long has it been standing? What, like, little things like that. Like, we're still kind of unraveling. The gameplay was the last thing that came out, and then we talked about the castle demo. So in sequence of events, the gameplay came out in between the village demo that was shortened, and then the gameplay comes out, which shows more of the story ahead, and then we have the castle demo, which we already talked about and broke down for you, and here we are.
There's one last thing, unless you got something else written down.
I think that's everything, I guess, in order.
Yeah, in order. There's one last thing I can think of that I think we really should talk about, because I thought we got all the negatives out of the way, but
they're kind of baked into our discussion.
There's one more. How do you feel about them literally recasting every voice as a new character? Literally almost everyone. I think the only two who didn't get recasted were Leon and Claire.
So you're talking about, to kind of rephrase what you're saying. So you're saying, like, how do I feel about them
RE3 remakes,
like
cast.
the recent cast being reused,
and 7. Now Mia and Ethan obviously are Mia and Ethan, so they should be recasted. How do you feel about it appears to be Nikki Lee Tompkins, Neil Newbon, whatever his Nikolai's name was, I forget, Jeff Shine, whoever Marguerite's voice actor was. And that's all we've heard so far.
I'll be honest. I honestly don't mind it as much, because I do think they do a good job.
Okay.
I think from what I heard in 2 and 3 remake, I did like the performances for the most part. So I guess I don't mind it as much. They seem to be going in the same kind of realm and team. I think, honestly, the only thing that is a little bit interesting is the Jeff Shine choice as Chris, because Chris has been changed so much. But I do love Jeff Shine, and I love his voice performance.
I do too. I love Jeff Shine.
So I'm curious to see how he's going to... I think it's strange for like
Carlos to Chris.
For Carlos to Chris, I think it's strange, and it's also strange that you're changing our main character's voice actors so much.
Yeah.
So I think for the main characters, it's a little odd, more so than the new characters, like the daughters, and like, I feel like when they reuse it for those characters that we're not so attached to, characters. But then when it's like characters that we care about, it's a little strange.
I would rather have a voice change than a face change, and Chris has gone through both so many times.
Yeah, I think that's weird, man. It's like, not only has his appearance changed tremendously, but his fucking voice is always different. So it's like, shit, man. It was only consistent during RE5 and RE6, like when it was like the same Roger Craig Smith.
Yep, Craig Smith.
Which I loved. So but again, it's like every rendition I do find, as I live with it and listen to the cutscenes, it will probably work for me. I don't think it's so much of a negative in my opinion.
Okay. I hate it.
Do you think it just lacks
I think it lacks like effort. And I think it's really lazy to just use the same voices for characters that are pretty important in another character's voice. Like I personally think it's lazy. Is it going to ruin the game for me? No, of course not. I don't care. Jeff Shine's my man. I love him. Nikki Lee Tompkins, we got to talk to her. She's awesome. I love, Nick Apostolidis. He's the new Leon for Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. I don't like that decision because it's not his Leon, but whatever. Like I love him too, so I'm cool with it. I think it's really lazy, and Carlos to Chris being the same voice is really fucking weird.
I also think it's weird because it's so close together.
It's literally
like you're
the
bouncing
next
off of RE3 remake and then right back into Village, and then you're making him Chris. And it's
I mean,
whoa.
it already caused a problem with people thinking Jill was going to be in this game because they heard her fucking voice. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, it's so close together.
Yeah, it's really weird. Now, that's such a nitpick. Like, that's like the least of the problems.
Because it's not about the actual game
that's
in
the
regards
least
to
of the
like,
problems.
yeah.
But Ethan, I'm proud of him.
But no, it's important to
sounds
talk
better.
about. Listen,
Yeah.
this podcast was us just
Unpacking
everything, talking about our feelings, talking about the positives and negatives, and obviously there's a lot more positives than negatives. But a lot of thing I wanted to also address is like, we're not putting on a show for anybody. We're not, saying
that fucking comment.
Yeah, we're not. There's been comments, multiple, not just one, but just as a blanket statement, I just want to say, because I don't want to make it seem like, you got to read everything and you got to respond to everything, but we are genuine, here. So we are telling you how we feel. And obviously, we, as Resident Evil Village unfolds, as we went through each paper and we kind of were writing this stuff, I was kind of thinking like, yeah, everything we saw really did get us more excited. And we didn't really see a lot of negatives on the front of like, the stuff that we've been getting, because again, it was very, withheld, and the gameplay that we got was really small. So once we play this game, we're going to give our genuine opinion about how we feel. But just because we do co-streams with Capcom on their events and all that stuff doesn't mean we're not giving you our genuine reaction.
Yes.
We're always going to give you how we feel. Me and John do have different opinions. We are different people. So obviously he might say, I like this, and I might say, well, I don't like that. I like that. So like, that's why when we do a review podcast and we do review videos, that's when we're going to address it. I mean, when we played 2 and 3 Remake, we told you what we thought about it then, and then we told you what we thought about after the fact. We're going to do the same thing for Village, cover it every step of the way. We did the same thing for 7. But, for this, like I said, we're just going to, we're very positive because,
it's positive.
It's positive. We've been excited.
We talk about the negatives, but like,
we talk about
we should. Like, it's not that we hate this game. Or
exactly.
I'm not even going in. I'm optimistic. I'm not even going in pessimistic. I think this game's going to be great.
Right. You just got to go with an open mind.
There are some things that bother me.
Right.
But for somebody to have the audacity to be like, all you guys do is love Resident Evil Village. What about their love for 7? Like, ever since Capcom's been co-streaming you guys and giving you codes to give away,
it's like no.
No, fuck you.
Yeah,
like,
because we actually like the actual like thing in there is that like you can have your own opinion. Like they don't like
literally.
It's for those streams. Like it's not like every single video. Like we literally are our own person, and we've never manufactured or sold out our opinions to like cater to companies or doing. It's like we are our own individual. They can't knock other people for having their own opinions, and we've always had our own opinions here. And it does seem better than RE7. It feels like a more confident Resident Evil 7. It feels like a more confident Resident Evil 7. There's nothing wrong with sharing excitement for something that feels like RE4, which is one of my favorite games of all time.
It just
There's nothing
so
wrong with
happens that two people who happen to be good friends, who happen to run a Resident Evil channel, don't like RE7. Get over it. That's all I'm going to say. Get over it.
And we'll be able to make comparison
you
videos
can like
and everything
RE7
once we play 8, and we say, all right, what did this do better? What did this do better?
Yeah.
We'll have two games that are actually feeding off of each other because Capcom, they mentioned, they're selling this in a bundle. They want you to play 7 before 8.
Yep.
They are going to be together in that sense. So like what John said earlier in the show, and we always stress this, we're always going to talk about it when talking about Village because they're together. And then after the fact, you look back and be like, wow, we played through Resident Evil 8 on the 24-hour stream. How do we really feel? We let it sink in. Then we write a review. We write our feelings. We jot stuff down. We're always taking notes. We're always talking about stuff off camera to see how like our ideas or how our opinions are developing. So we're always going to be honest with you guys. And of course, this is the pre-release show. So I didn't want to leave anything on the table. I wanted to talk about everything and our feelings. And again, that very small amount of people feel this way. Most people are positive and supportive, and all you guys have been having a great time in the community discussions all over the place.
We've had great comments.
It's been great. It's been a great run.
A lot of people.
10 months, guys, and it's been
months.
of just like replying to people and talking and like shooting the shit and just like really growing with you guys. And if you're new here, like thank you. If this is the first podcast you're listening to, we have a plethora of shows that go on for a while, and we have plenty of more. This is the first one in the video format for YouTube, so obviously let us know what you think about that as well. But
also,
yeah,
I was
man,
gonna say,
there's just a lot. There's a lot.
Just based on this, right? Just to follow up with what we just said, I think it's really important to know that, yes, they're synonymous. You can't talk about one without the other. Some people might be like, well, when Resident Evil 2 Remake came out and 3 Remake came out, you compared them to 7-2. Yes, because it was RE Engine, and it was all we had to compare at the time. Resident Evil 2 Remake and 7, a lot of it was us saying, this is a better direction, in our opinion, than what they were doing with 7. Once 8's done, if 8's over, and 7 and 8's story is concluded, and the next game comes out, we'll compare it to Village, because Village was the latest game that came out.
Exactly.
The roadmap is, after the next game comes out, whatever's second, we'll probably never fucking talk about 7 and Village again.
Yeah, unless we're doing some kind of content related to that story.
Unless it's very specific.
Right.
We're not going to reach back to beat 7 up again. It's because we have to.
Yeah, it's not like we're bullying 7 on purpose, you know.
And 7 has great aspects, which we talked about.
Yes,
and we will do a whole show on.
Yeah.
When it wins the fucking vote.
Right.
We'll play it on all the platforms, including VR.
It's not gonna. Yeah, and it's not gonna be. It's just not gonna be something that we're gonna dismiss, and there's a lot worse Resident Evil games than 7. So we never said it was the worst thing ever made.
There is definitely a lot worse.
The story and characters might be bad, but it doesn't mean it's the worst thing ever.
No, 7's still really enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly. And we replayed it post
Legacy
release
stream.
and Legacy stream leading up to RE3, and we're going to be playing it before this. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff, man. I feel like we got a lot of good stuff in on the show. Obviously, let us know what you think of this.
Yeah, let us know
pre-release
what you think
info
about
in the comments and the
new
format. Yeah,
and let us know if you think the angles are good.
If they think angles are good, obviously we're still we got the new cameras and everything, but the audio is still there, so you can obviously always download the shows on Spotify, iTunes, and Libsyn. You can always hit that thumbs up as well. We got the new Village shirt down below, LTRE.shop. You got the LTRE merch.
Let's
rocking and rolling.
Resident Evil.store.
LTRE.store.
Yeah.
Right. So LTRE.store. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out leading up to, Village in regards to us just live streaming, I guess. Because, info-wise, this is going to be, I'll probably have some stuff I'll break up from this video and put out. But, other than that, it's just we're going to be streaming it when it comes out for the stream. Yeah. And then after the stream, that week after, we'll have some dates and stuff to announce for you guys soon. So, yeah, we do lead this up, the path to the Village, the excitement, the hype to the Village, of course, all leads up to our 24-hour live stream. We can't stress that enough.
And right before the 24-hour live stream, as we alluded to multiple times in this podcast, we will be doing a full playthrough of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard in the PlayStation VR.
In PlayStation VR. Shout out to Perry for hooking me up with the VR, and we appreciate that. And yes, we're going to be doing that for the first time on the channel for VR.
That's going to be fun.
And that's going to be fun. We got the adapter as well for the PS5, so we can play it with the PS5 enhancements as well. Which is nice little touch, because I only ever played it on a standard PS4 in VR for an hour or so. Shout out to Joe when I tried that. But
and I remember enjoying the VR experience more than the base experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was because VR was fucking cool. I like it.
Yeah, man. I think the immersive, it definitely is immersive. In the bigger house seems crazy. Yeah. Yeah, we'll take turns. We'll make it fun for everyone. But yeah, so we have so much stuff. Obviously, like I said, we'll probably, like I said, I'll probably take a couple of clips from this podcast and upload them as separate videos for you guys to watch. As far as us talking about the castle and the blah blah blah. So it's just there for you guys. So it can also kind of be a little gateway for people to check out the show. So I think that will be cool. Because we really don't have a lot of other new the only other new information that can come out is more spoiler stuff that we just won't cover. I mean, no. I really can't stress that enough, guys. So I'm sorry if you want us to cover the other 40% that's going to come out next week. It's probably not going to happen. you know, it's going to be rough because, again, like, you know, that's stuff that YouTube wants, but we just can't do it. You know what I mean? So I really don't know what else to say, you know, unless, of course, we get some more information ahead of time officially from Capcom, which I think the showcase and the demos are it for them as far as promotional cycle. 10 months of all this stuff, and we're caught up.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would want to say at the end here is, you know, obviously, you know, thank everybody for their support. Thank you for all the engagement in both the Discord, the hype building up to the 24-hour stream, the understanding of us, you know, canning the Legacy Remake series. Thank you guys for leaving comments all the time.
Yeah,
leaving thumbs up.
To think about, like, doing that on top of this, like,
it killed us.
Literally would be impossible.
Yeah, especially if we still had 40 hours a week of work. But above all else, though, you know, this is an interactive podcast. And even though it probably seemed more negative than positive, know that we're both going into this positive because they always say, you know, the squeaky floorboard gets fixed first. So
squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah, podcasts are like when you're looking at something and you're anticipating something, more often than not, you will always overanalyze the negatives more than the positives because the positives don't bother you.
But we said a lot of positives.
Yeah, we said a lot of positives. I'm just saying, like, I don't want them to think that we're like upset with the game. I'm really ecstatic for the game.
Yeah,
we want to know what you guys think about the game and what your favorite aspect is going forward. And also, if you listen to this podcast, which we didn't spoil really anything too heavily. Because we kind of just talked about the official information is out there, and you are trying to avoid spoilers at all costs. Please let us know, because I want to know the percentage of people who are out there trying not to get spoiled with this Australian fuck who's stealing all the games and all this other shit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing too. Yeah, like let us know, you know, how if you're going to be experiencing it with us for the 24-hour stream, or if you're just going to wait until you're done and then you're going to come and check out our stream, because some people might, you know, not get a chance to play it up to a certain point. But yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of stuff. We're going to have giveaways for 2 collector's editions. It's going to be fun. So
like 8 t-shirts.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot. So it's going to be fun.
6 copies of the game.
Yeah.
So 8 copies total because of the collector's editions.
I can't wait, guys. It's going to be really fun. Yeah, just thank you for all the support and all the love. And of course, thank you to everyone that also is on Patreon. We do have a Patreon, so check that out down below. And if you're listening, we do exclusive Patreon updates and live streams and shows. I'm going to work on getting a feed for just Patreon shows and stuff that we do in the future. So if you want to listen to stuff and stuff that we put up on Patreon, you get a private RSS feed, put it on your phone, download what we do, and we'll have the video version on YouTube for people that like to watch that stuff as well. Correct. So it'll be cool as fuck. And thank you for all the love and support. And let us know what you think about the new format as well. And this is the pre-release show, guys. So everything else you see from us will just be live streams and some bite-sized videos from here on out. And just check us out on that 24-hour stream. We'll have dates and information soon, so follow us on the socials and Discord and all that good shit.
I think it probably should be said here, just like as a rule of thumb, Code Veronica is on pause until post-Village.
Yes,
because we're going to be playing through 7.
That. Yeah.
Yes, the patrons did. It's on pause. We're not canceling or anything. It's still that's a running thing that's going to be happening.
Yes.
But we are going to be playing 7 next week because next week's the only week left before Village.
Yes. Yeah.
So this upcoming week, we're going to be playing 7 in VR.
Stay tuned for the events.
Probably be Thursday, Friday.
Yeah,
I'm
probably
sure.
the days that we normally stream.
Yeah, the days that our normal schedule is, and then we're looking.
Because I'm sure we'll be able to beat it. It's a relatively
we'll
quick.
Probably beat it
game.
in 2 days. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'd say like a 1 to 2 day stream.
We probably won't be able to take it out in 1 day with the VR. I think I had to take 4 days with the VR to beat it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I
but
think
with 2 of us, we might be able to take it out.
That's what I was saying.
Days.
Yeah, we can really sink some time into it with, having a rest here and there. And stay tuned for the events and the dates because we'll get that to you really shortly.
Yeah.
As it gets closer, we'll keep you guys updated. But that's it. Until then,
that's it.
We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace out.
Peace. A big shout out to everyone that supports us over on Patreon. Starting at just $1 a month, you can join on exclusive polls and you can vote on content for the channel. We literally couldn't do this without you guys, and we really appreciate all the support across all tiers. Thank you for all your support, and we'll catch you next time right here on Let's Talk Resident Evil.